The sun was setting over the hidden leaf village, casting long shadows that danced upon the dirt streets. As the vibrant hues of orange and purple began to fill the sky, Naruto Uzumaki ran for his life, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The shouts of the mob echoed behind him, a constant reminder of the hatred he had carried since childhood. "Demon! Get him!" they yelled, their voices filled with venom and fear. Naruto was no stranger to being chased. It had become a part of his daily life. But today felt different. Today, the anger and fury of the villagers seemed more intense, and he could hear the sounds of their footsteps gaining on him. Adrenaline surged through his veins, and he pushed himself to run faster, zigzagging through the narrow alleys to evade capture. "Why can't they just leave me alone?" he thought, frustration mingling with his fear. He had spent so many nights dreaming of being accepted, of being seen as more than just a vessel for the Nine Tails. All he wanted was to be acknowledged, to have friends who would stand by him, and to be part of something bigger than himself. But the villagers only saw the monster sealed within him. He turned a corner sharply, his feet kicking up dust as he darted past a stall selling dumplings. The vendor barely had time to react, but Naruto felt a pang of guilt as he heard the angry shouts of the vendor, who likely saw him as a nuisance. "Sorry," he yelled over his shoulder, but his focus was solely on escaping the angry mob. As he sprinted onward, he caught sight of a more secluded area of the village, the outskirts, where ancient trees stood tall and proud, their gnarled roots breaking through the earth. There, he saw a pathway that led into a dense thicket. He had ventured into this area before, mostly to explore or find a quiet place to be alone. Without hesitation, he veered into the foliage, the branches whipping against his skin as he plunged deeper into the woods. The cacophony of shouts faded behind him, replaced by the sounds of nature, rustling leaves, chirping birds, and the gentle whisper of the wind. The sensation of safety washed over him, if only for a moment. He slowed his pace, leaning against a tree to catch his breath. "Maybe they'll give up," he murmured to himself. But deep down, he knew that wouldn't be the case. The village had not forgotten. As he glanced around, his eyes fell upon a strange glow emanating from deeper within the woods. Curiosity piqued, Naruto pushed himself off the tree and made his way toward the light. It wasn't long before he stumbled upon an ancient shrine, overgrown with vines and moss, its stone walls crumbling but still exuding an aura of power. "Whoa," he whispered, eyes wide with wonder. The shrine was unlike anything he had seen before, its carvings depicting mystical symbols and creatures he couldn't quite recognize. The air around it felt charged, as if it were alive, humming with energy. He stepped closer, drawn to the center where a large stone tablet stood, inscribed with an intricate pattern. The glow pulsed, illuminating the area in a warm light. As he reached out to touch it, he felt a sudden surge of energy course through him, jolting him back. "What the?" Naruto exclaimed, shaking his hand as if to rid himself of the strange sensation. But the pull was irresistible. Compelled by a force he couldn't understand, he stepped forward again and placed both hands on the tablet. In an instant, a blinding light enveloped him, and Naruto was thrown into a whirlwind of colors and shapes. His surroundings dissolved into a kaleidoscope of visions, and he felt as though he were being pulled through time and space. "Help!" he screamed, panic rising within him. But there was no one to hear him. He was lost in the void, surrounded by whispers that echoed in his mind. "Awaken!" The power of Veldanava. The voices were ethereal, resonating with an authority that both frightened and exhilarated him. Images flashed before his eyes, of a world filled with magic, of beings of immense power, and of a force that could reshape reality itself. The sensations overwhelmed him, and just as suddenly as it began, it all came to a halt. Naruto found himself back in the shrine, panting heavily, his heart racing. The light faded, and he slowly pulled his hands away from the tablet, feeling a strange warmth still radiating from his palms. It was as if the essence of the shrine had infused him with something profound. What was that? He breathed, trying to make sense of the experience. He felt different somehow, as if a part of him had awakened that had been dormant for so long. As he looked around, he noticed the intricate carvings on the shrine's walls began to glow softly, pulsating in rhythm with his heartbeat. Suddenly, A surge of knowledge flooded his mind. Insights into chakra and its true nature. Understanding the connection between life and energy. The balance of existence. Naruto gasped as he realized he could feel the flow of chakra around him. Like a current of water running through a riverbed. He could sense the very essence of life in the plants, the trees, and even the stones beneath his feet. "This is amazing," he exclaimed, overwhelmed with excitement. He could see the chakra flowing through him, vibrant and alive, connecting him to everything around him. For the first time, he felt like he belonged to something greater than himself. In that moment of clarity, he began to comprehend the significance of the power he had awakened. Veldanava was not just a force, it was a representation of harmony, creation, and life itself. A profound realization struck him. He could use this power to protect those he cared about, to stand against the hatred that had plagued him for so long. "No more running," he declared, determination flooding his heart. "I won't let anyone push me around again. I'll become stronger." The weight of despair that had burdened him for years began to lift as hope blossomed within his chest. With newfound resolve, Naruto turned to leave the shrine, ready to embrace his destiny. But just as he stepped outside, he paused, glancing back at the glowing tablet. "I'll come back. I promise," he whispered, knowing that this place would become a sanctuary for him, a source of power he could tap into whenever he needed it. As he emerged from the thicket, the sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a twilight glow over the village. The chase was still fresh in his mind, but now it felt like a distant memory. He had uncovered something incredible, and he was determined to harness this power. With a grin stretching across his face, Naruto set off toward the village, excitement bubbling within him. He would train, learn, and grow stronger, not just for himself, but for the sake of the bonds he would forge. The mob had given him a new purpose, and he would no longer be the outcast they deemed him to be. As he ran through the streets of Konoha, the shadows that once loomed over him began to fade. Each step felt lighter, every breath filled with promise. He was no longer just Naruto Uzumaki, the boy carrying the burden of the 9 tails. He was Naruto Uzumaki, the vessel of Veldanava, destined for greatness. The village may have seen him as a demon, but soon, they would recognize him as a hero. With a heart full of determination and a spirit ignited by the ancient power, Naruto was ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. The world was vast, and he was only beginning to uncover the potential that awaited him. "Believe it!" he shouted, his voice ringing out with newfound conviction as he dashed into the night, ready to embrace his journey with every ounce of strength he possessed. The first rays of dawn peeked through the window of Naruto's small apartment, casting a warm golden light across the room. Naruto stirred awake, blinking against the brightness, and immediately felt a sense of unusual energy coursing through his body. He sat up suddenly, the memories of the previous night flooding back. "The shrine," he exclaimed, recollecting the ancient place where he had awakened the power of Veldanava. What happened? His heart raced with excitement and a hint of apprehension. Had it all been a dream? Or had he truly gained something incredible? He swung his legs over the side of the bed, feeling a newfound strength in his muscles. As he stood up, a surge of energy pulsed through him, and he felt lighter, more agile. He couldn't help but grin. It was as if he had shed the weight of the world. "Time to find out what's different about me," Naruto declared, his determination burning bright. He rushed to the mirror, his reflection revealing the familiar spiky blonde hair and blue eyes. But something felt distinctly altered. His posture was more confident. His expression radiated vitality. With a newfound vigor, he sprinted out of his apartment and into the streets of Konoha. The village was still waking up. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the scent of dew-soaked grass. Naruto took a deep breath, feeling the chakra flowing through the environment, an almost palpable energy connecting everything. He dashed through the streets, his feet barely touching the ground. The world around him seemed to blur as he moved, and he felt exhilarated, as though he could run indefinitely. "This is amazing," he shouted, laughing as he leapt over a fence effortlessly, landing on the other side with a perfect roll. As he continued to run, an idea struck him. "I need to try out some jutsu." Naruto headed for a nearby training ground, excitement coursing through him. Upon reaching the clearing, he stopped, taking a moment to gather himself. He closed his eyes, focusing inward, feeling the familiar sensation of chakra within him. He concentrated, summoning the chakra to his fingertips, and opened his eyes. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he shouted, executing the technique flawlessly. To his surprise, instead of the usual few clones, a dozen clones burst forth, each one perfectly formed and vibrant with energy. They surrounded him, grinning with enthusiasm. "Wow! This is incredible!" he exclaimed, almost unable to contain his excitement. "Let's train." As they began to practice, Naruto felt a rush of inspiration. With each movement, he realized he could feel the connection between his clones and himself more deeply than before. He could sense their thoughts and emotions, and they could feel his intentions. This is telepathy? He wondered, thrilled at the prospect of sharing experiences with his clones. They trained together, pushing each other harder than ever. Each clone was like an extension of himself, and he felt an overwhelming sense of unity with them. "Let's try something new," he said, eager to explore the depths of his abilities. He focused on the energy surrounding him, feeling it resonate within him. "Light manipulation," he shouted, channeling his chakra. Suddenly, bright orbs of light formed in the air around him, glowing with a gentle radiance. The clones gasped in awe as they watched the spectacle unfold. "Cool? Can you make it brighter?" one of the clones shouted, excitement dancing in its eyes. Naruto grinned and concentrated, infusing more chakra into the orbs. They flared up, casting dazzling rays of light in all directions. He waved his hands, guiding the light, making it swirl and dance in midair. It was a breathtaking sight, and for a moment, he felt like he was painting the sky with his newfound power. "Let's see how far we can go," he called out, trying to create a shield of light around them. As he concentrated, a barrier of radiant energy enveloped him and the clones, shimmering like a protective cocoon. They all cheered, filled with enthusiasm and pride at their collective achievement. But then, a thought crossed Naruto's mind. What if I could create something? He pondered, the idea igniting his curiosity. He focused once more, envisioning an object, a kunai. As he concentrated, he felt the energy building within him, and to his astonishment, a kunai formed in his hand, shimmering with light. "I made a kunai," he exclaimed, eyes wide with disbelief. He tossed it into the air, watching it spin gracefully before catching it again. The kunai felt solid and real, unlike anything he had created before. "Let's practice with it," one of the clones suggested, and they began a series of drills, throwing the kunai, practicing accuracy, and testing their reflexes. Naruto reveled in the thrill of creation, the joy of exploring his abilities, and the sense of camaraderie that came from sharing this experience with his clones. Hours passed as they trained, laughter and excitement filling the clearing. But as the sun climbed higher in the sky, Naruto finally paused, panting and exhausted yet exhilarated. He had uncovered incredible powers, but there was still so much he didn't understand. "Okay, time to think this through," he said, gathering his clones around him. "I can manipulate light. I can create objects. And I can communicate telepathically with my clones. This is amazing. But I need to learn how to control it all. There's a lot of potential here." He closed his eyes, reflecting on the implications of what he had discovered. The power of Veldanava had granted him abilities far beyond what he had ever dreamed possible. But with that power came responsibility. If he truly wanted to protect the village and those he cared about, he needed to be prepared. "I need to train hard," he vowed, determination burning in his chest. "I'll master these powers and show everyone that I'm not just the Nine Tails vessel. I'll prove that I'm Naruto Uzumaki, a shinobi they can rely on." With renewed purpose, he dismissed his clones and set off back to the village, eager to share his discoveries with his friends. As he ran, he felt a sense of belonging beginning to form within him. The village was still rife with challenges and prejudice, but now he felt equipped to face them. Naruto's mind raced with possibilities. He could learn to combine his light manipulation with his ninjutsu, develop new techniques, and perhaps even change the way the villagers saw him. They might see him as a monster, but he would show them he was capable of greatness. The sun shone brightly overhead, and as Naruto approached the village, he felt a rush of excitement. Each step felt like a step toward his destiny. He would not be defined by his past. He would forge his own path and become a hero. Just you wait. Konoha. I'm coming back stronger than ever, he shouted, his voice echoing through the streets as he dashed toward his dreams. The dawn of a new era had begun, and with Veldanava's power within him, Naruto was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. As dawn broke over Konoha, the village was gradually waking up. Naruto stood at the edge of the training ground, the sun's rays spilling over the trees, illuminating the path ahead. Today was the day he would truly begin honing his newfound powers, and he felt a surge of excitement mixed with determination. All right, let's do this, he declared, a fire igniting in his spirit. He had spent the past few days experimenting with his light manipulation and telepathy, but today he wanted to focus on improving his physical and combat skills. With the power of Veldanava coursing through him, he knew he had the potential to become stronger than ever before. Naruto began with a series of warm-up exercises, pushing himself harder than he ever had. He felt lighter and more agile, each movement imbued with a newfound grace. As he ran laps around the training ground, he noticed how his senses had sharpened. He could hear the rustling of leaves, feel the gentle breeze against his skin, and sense the vibrations of life all around him. It was as if he had become one with the world itself. After a good warm-up, he transitioned into basic combat techniques. He practiced his punches and kicks, focusing on speed and precision. Each strike felt powerful, as if he were channeling the very essence of energy through his body. With every swing of his fist, he imagined his chakra flaring to life, enhancing his strength. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he shouted, creating a dozen clones once again. They formed a circle around him, each one ready to spar. Naruto felt a rush of excitement as he prepared to put his skills to the test. Let's go, he yelled, charging at his clones. The first clone rushed at him, throwing a punch, but Naruto sidestepped, using the clone's momentum against it. He countered with a swift kick, sending the clone tumbling to the ground. Too slow, he taunted, a grin spreading across his face. He moved through the group of clones like a whirlwind, dodging and weaving, landing precise strikes while evading their attacks. With each clash, he felt himself becoming more attuned to the rhythm of combat. The enhanced physical abilities granted by Veldanava allowed him to anticipate their moves before they even happened, giving him a significant advantage. All right, time for something new, he shouted, stepping back to catch his breath. He wanted to incorporate his light manipulation into the training. Let's see how I can use this in a fight. Naruto focused on the energy within him, channeling it into his hands. Light Clone Jutsu, he exclaimed, forming clones made entirely of light. They sparkled with energy, each one ready to engage. The difference was immediate. These clones could move with speed and fluidity that surpassed the physical limitations of regular clones. The light clones darted around the training ground, their movements leaving trails of shimmering light in their wake. Naruto engaged them in combat, marveling at the way they enhanced his training. The light clones' unique properties allowed them to disappear and reappear, creating an unpredictable training environment. As the session continued, he felt a sense of exhilaration wash over him. The world around him seemed more vibrant, alive with energy and potential. He could see the chakra flowing through the trees, the earth, and even the sky above. It deepened his understanding of life and death, the interconnectedness of all beings and the cycle that bound them together. In moments of stillness, Naruto reflected on this new perspective. With his enhanced intelligence, he began to grasp the nuances of life he had once overlooked. Every being he encountered was part of a larger tapestry, each thread woven into the fabric of existence. He remembered the pain and suffering he had endured and how it shaped his desire to protect others. As the sun reached its zenith, Naruto decided to take a break. He sat down beneath a tree, closing his eyes and allowing the warmth of the sun to wash over him. In this moment of tranquility, he felt the pulse of life around him. He began to meditate, focusing on his breathing and channeling his chakra, seeking harmony within himself. Suddenly, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above him, and he opened his eyes, feeling a strange sense of clarity. He understood now that his powers were not merely tools for combat. They were gifts that carried responsibility. With Veldanava's essence coursing through him, he was not just a vessel, he was a guardian, a protector of life. "I'll use this power to save others," he promised. Determination etched on his face. "I won't let anyone else suffer like I have." The conviction in his heart burned bright as he realized the path he had to walk. Feeling invigorated, Naruto stood up and decided to test his limits further. He set up a series of targets throughout the training ground, each one representing a challenge. With a fierce glint in his eyes, he summoned his light manipulation once again, creating projectiles of light that hovered around him. "Let's see how accurate I can be," he shouted, launching the glowing orbs toward the targets. Each projectile struck true, exploding in bursts of light upon impact. The satisfaction of hitting every target filled him with joy. But as he continued, he felt a flicker of doubt gnawing at the edges of his mind. "What if I fail?" he wondered briefly, the shadow of insecurity creeping in. "What if I'm not strong enough to protect the village?" In that moment of vulnerability, he remembered the people who believed in him, Iruka, Kakashi, and his friends. They saw potential in him even when he couldn't see it in himself. "I won't let them down," he resolved, shaking off the doubts. The wind picked up, rustling the trees and filling the air with the scent of blossoms. It felt like a sign, a reminder that change was coming. With renewed determination, he pushed himself harder, blending his physical training with his newfound powers. Hours passed as he perfected his skills, feeling the rhythm of combat in his bones. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the training ground. But Naruto was not ready to stop. He was on a mission to grow stronger. As he continued his training, he began to visualize the future he desired. A future where he stood tall as a hero, not just in Konoha, but beyond its borders. He imagined traveling to other villages, learning new techniques, and forming alliances that would help him protect his home. "This is just the beginning," he said aloud, a confident smile playing on his lips. "I'll become the strongest ninja the world has ever seen." With each passing day, Naruto felt the weight of his past lifting. He was no longer defined by the 9 tails. He was a shinobi on a journey to greatness. And with the power of Veldanava guiding him, he was determined to change the course of his life. As night fell, Naruto stood on a hill overlooking Konoha, the village illuminated by the soft glow of lights. He could feel the heartbeat of the village beneath him, a reminder of the lives he sought to protect. "I'll make you proud," he whispered to the night sky, determination filling his heart. "I'll show everyone that I'm more than just a demon. I'll be the hero this village needs." And with that promise etched in his soul, Naruto began the next chapter of his journey, ready to face whatever challenges awaited him. The winds of change were upon him, and he would ride them to his destiny. The sun rose high in the sky, casting a warm glow over Konoha. Despite his newfound powers and the training he had undertaken, Naruto felt a lingering emptiness, a longing for companionship that echoed deep within his heart. With all the incredible abilities he had acquired, he realized that power alone wouldn't fill the void. He wanted to share his journey with friends who would understand him, who would stand by his side. "Maybe today's the day," he said to himself, determination swirling in his chest. "I'll finally make friends with Sasuke and Sakura." Naruto had been observing his classmates from a distance during their training sessions. Sasuke's relentless focus and fierce dedication intrigued him, while Sakura's tenacity and kindness drew him in. They were strong, each in their own way, and he couldn't help but admire them. Yet, there was always a wall between him and the other two, a barrier built from their preconceived notions about him and his past. He approached the training ground where the two were practicing their techniques. Sasuke was honing his shuriken throwing skills, while Sakura was diligently working on her chakra control. The sight of them brought a smile to Naruto's face. They were so focused, and he felt a surge of excitement at the thought of joining them. "Hey, guys," he called out, waving enthusiastically as he approached. Sasuke looked up, eyebrows furrowing slightly. "What do you want, Naruto?" he asked, his tone flat yet curious. "Yeah, what's up?" Sakura chimed in, her voice light but cautious. "I just wanted to train with you," Naruto said, hoping to keep his enthusiasm contagious. I've been working hard and thought we could all push each other. Sasuke exchanged a glance with Sakura. And there was a moment of uncertainty hanging in the air. But Naruto's infectious energy began to break the ice. Fine. Sasuke replied. His expression softening ever so slightly. Just try not to get in the way. Naruto felt a rush of excitement at Sasuke's acceptance. You got it. I'll show you what I can do. They gathered together. And Naruto decided to take a step back and assess their training. He watched as Sasuke demonstrated his shuriken techniques, effortlessly sending multiple shuriken flying toward a series of targets. Each one struck true, showcasing his incredible skill. Wow! Sasuke! You're amazing! Naruto exclaimed, genuine admiration spilling from his lips. Thanks. But you need to focus on your own training. Naruto. Sasuke replied, a hint of annoyance creeping into his voice. Right. I'll show you what I can do. Naruto said, feeling motivated to impress his classmates. He summoned a few of his light clones and had them practice alongside him, making it look like they were executing advanced techniques together. Sakura watched with wide eyes. How are you doing that? They're so fast. Just some training. He shrugged, trying to appear nonchalant, though a hint of pride gleamed in his eyes. All right. Let's see what you can really do, Sasuke said, crossing his arms, a small smirk playing at the corner of his lips. Okay. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto exclaimed, summoning a whole army of clones that surrounded the training ground, with the light clones mingling among them. It was a spectacle of energy and enthusiasm. Sakura giggled. That's really impressive, Naruto. Yeah. I've been practicing a lot, he said, his confidence soaring. Let's see if I can keep up with Sasuke. With his clones positioned, he turned to Sasuke. Want to have a little competition? Let's see who can hit the targets faster. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Intrigued. Fine. But don't blame me if you lose. The two of them launched into a flurry of activity, each trying to outdo the other. Naruto felt exhilarated, channeling his chakra into his techniques while using his clones strategically. He felt like he could read Sasuke's moves, anticipating where he would strike and countering with his light manipulation. Sasuke's intense focus was infectious, and Naruto couldn't help but push himself harder. As they continued their friendly competition, Sakura joined in, cheering them on and offering encouragement. For the first time, Naruto felt like he was part of something larger, like he belonged. Hey! Naruto! Look out! Sakura suddenly shouted. A stray shuriken from Sasuke's practice spun towards him. Instinctively, Naruto raised his hand, summoning a shield of light to block it just in time. Nice save, Sasuke said, slightly impressed despite himself. Thanks. Just a little trick I picked up, Naruto replied, grinning ear to ear. They continued training, with Sasuke giving him pointers and Sakura joining in to help with chakra control exercises. Naruto felt a sense of camaraderie blossoming, a connection forming as they laughed and encouraged each other. The barrier that had once existed began to dissolve, replaced with genuine friendship. As they took a break, sitting under the shade of a large tree, Naruto couldn't contain his excitement. This is awesome. I've wanted to train with you two for so long. Sakura smiled warmly. You're really improving, Naruto. It's great to see you like this. Yeah, Sasuke added. Just keep working hard. You got potential. Naruto beamed at the praise, feeling a swell of happiness. Thanks. That means a lot coming from you guys. But beneath his cheerful exterior, a part of him felt the need to keep his powers a secret. He didn't want his friends to think of him differently. He wanted to be seen as Naruto Uzumaki, the hardworking ninja and aspiring Hokage. Not just as the vessel of the nine tails or as someone who had received a mysterious power. Hey, what's your goal? Sasuke asked, breaking into his thoughts. Naruto hesitated for a moment. I want to become Hokage, he said, his voice steady and filled with determination. I want everyone in the village to recognize me and be proud of who I am. Sakura nodded, a soft smile on her face. That's a great dream, Naruto. I believe you can do it. Yeah, Sasuke added. If you keep pushing yourself, I can see you becoming strong enough to protect the village. Naruto felt warmth spread through him at their encouragement. It was a feeling he had longed for, and it fueled his desire to become even stronger. The afternoon passed quickly as they trained together, laughter and friendly competition filling the air. Naruto felt a sense of fulfillment as he sparred with Sasuke, utilizing his powers in a way that felt natural and fluid. It was exhilarating to push his limits while sharing this journey with his new friends. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, they decided to call it a day. The three of them stood together, looking out over Konoha as the lights began to twinkle in the village below. "Today was amazing," Naruto said, his heart swelling with joy. "Let's do this again tomorrow." "Definitely," Sakura agreed, her eyes sparkling. Sasuke smirked, nodding in agreement. "Just be ready to keep up." As they made their way back to the village, Naruto felt lighter than he had in years. For the first time, he truly felt like he belonged. Like he had friends who understood him. With his powers and the support of Sasuke and Sakura, he was determined to carve out a new path for himself. One where he could protect those he cared about. "I won't let you down," he whispered to himself. A promise echoing in his heart as he took in the vibrant life of Konoha around him. The wind swirled gently, as if in agreement. And with newfound hope, Naruto stepped forward into the future, ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead. The day of the graduation exam had arrived, and the atmosphere in the Hidden Leaf Village Academy was charged with excitement and anticipation. Students were bustling through the hallways, nervous energy buzzing in the air. For many, this was a pivotal moment, their first step toward becoming a shinobi and earning the right to wear the symbol of Konoha with pride. Naruto stood outside the academy, staring at the building with a mixture of determination and anxiety. He could feel his heart racing as he thought about the exam. "This is it," he whispered to himself, clenching his fists. "Time to show everyone what I'm made of." He had trained tirelessly, honing his skills and pushing himself to new limits with the power of Veldanava guiding him. But even with his newfound abilities, doubts lingered in the back of his mind. Would his classmates see him differently? Would they accept him as one of them? Taking a deep breath, he stepped inside, greeted by the familiar sight of his classmates milling around the exam room. The large hall was filled with chatter, but as soon as Iruka Amino, their instructor, entered, a hush fell over the room. "All right, everyone, settle down," Iruka called, his voice steady and commanding. "Today is the day you will demonstrate your skills in the graduation exam. Remember, this is your chance to show what you've learned." Naruto took a seat among his peers, his heart pounding in his chest. He exchanged nervous glances with Sakura and a fleeting look with Sasuke, who seemed calm and collected. As Iruka outlined the exam process, Naruto felt a rush of determination surging through him. The exam would consist of 3 parts: a written test, a practical demonstration of ninjutsu, and a teamwork exercise. While the written portion was a source of anxiety for him, he felt confident about the practical demonstrations. "First up is the written test," Iruka announced, handing out the sheets. Naruto took a deep breath, glancing at the paper filled with questions that made his head spin. "Just focus," he whispered to himself, doing his best to recall what he had studied. The test felt like an eternity, but Naruto powered through, scribbling down answers. He knew he could be a little scatterbrained, but he also understood his intuition and determination often compensated for his lack of traditional learning. After what felt like hours, the exam finally ended. "Now, let's move on to the practical demonstration," Iruka exclaimed, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. The students lined up outside, waiting for their turn. One by one, they showcased their skills. Naruto watched as his classmates performed their techniques, feeling a mixture of admiration and anxiety. He knew he had to be at his best to prove himself. "Next up is Naruto Uzumaki," Iruka called out, and Naruto's heart skipped a beat. This was his moment. "All right, here goes nothing," he said, stepping forward with a confident grin. He could feel the eyes of his classmates on him, curiosity and skepticism swirling in the air. Naruto focused, channeling his chakra, and executed the shadow clone technique with a flourish. "Shadow clone jutsu," he shouted, and instantly, dozens of clones erupted into existence, filling the training ground. The sheer number of clones left his classmates in awe, their jaws dropping in disbelief. "Whoa! How did he do that?" Sakura exclaimed, eyes wide with shock. "That's impressive," Sasuke admitted, a hint of respect creeping into his voice. Iruka's eyes widened as he observed the impressive display. "Incredible, Naruto." Most students struggled to create even 2 clones. But Naruto wasn't done yet. He knew he had to show them not just his power but also his strategic mind. He gestured for the clones to move in formation, orchestrating them with the precision of a seasoned shinobi. "All right. Listen up. We're going to do a coordinated attack." As the clones positioned themselves around the training ground, Naruto explained his plan. "We're going to distract our opponent while I sneak in for the win. On my mark, everyone." His clones nodded in unison, ready to follow his lead. As he counted down, Naruto felt a sense of exhilaration. This wasn't just about showing off. It was about teamwork and utilizing their strengths. 3, 2, 1, go! He shouted, and the clones surged forward, executing a series of feints and attacks that left the audience in awe. "Look at them go!" Sakura cheered, clapping her hands in excitement. Iruka watched intently, impressed by Naruto's strategic brilliance. "This is incredible. He's leading them with such confidence." As the clones executed their maneuvers, Naruto kept his eyes on the target, honing in on the movements of his imaginary opponent. He felt the energy surge within him, and with a final burst of determination, he executed a powerful kick that sent one of the clones flying toward the center of the training area. With the move flawlessly executed, the clone disintegrated into a burst of smoke, and the crowd erupted in applause. "Way to go, Naruto!" shouted a few classmates, their previous skepticism fading away. Iruka clapped his hands together, a proud smile spreading across his face. "Well done, Naruto. You've showcased both your strength and strategic thinking. I'm proud of your progress." Naruto couldn't help but grin from ear to ear. The admiration from his peers, the praise from Iruka, it filled him with a sense of accomplishment he had longed for. He had proved to everyone, especially to himself, that he was more than just the Nine-Tails vessel. He was a capable shinobi in his own right. As the exam continued, he watched his classmates demonstrate their skills. Sasuke showcased his proficiency with shuriken, while Sakura impressed everyone with her mastery of chakra control. Each display of talent solidified Naruto's belief that they could become a great team. Finally, it was time for the teamwork exercise. The students were divided into groups, and Naruto found himself paired with Sasuke and Sakura. As they gathered together, he could feel a sense of camaraderie forming. "All right, let's show them what we can do," Naruto said, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Sasuke crossed his arms, a smirk on his face. "As long as you don't mess up, we'll be fine." "I won't. Trust me," Naruto replied, determination bubbling within him. They quickly strategized, combining their strengths for the exercise. Naruto suggested using his clones to create diversions, allowing Sasuke and Sakura to execute their techniques without being hindered. The three of them moved seamlessly, each playing their role as they engaged in the simulated battle. As the exercise concluded, Iruka observed their teamwork with a proud expression. "Excellent job, everyone. You've shown great potential as a team." Naruto felt a rush of happiness. They had done it together. For the first time, he truly felt like he belonged among his peers. As the day came to a close and the sun dipped below the horizon, Naruto stood with Sasuke and Sakura, their faces glowing with excitement. "We did it!" Naruto exclaimed, a wide grin plastered across his face. "We're graduating." "Yeah," Sakura said, her eyes sparkling. "I can't believe it." Sasuke nodded, his expression softer than usual. "Let's keep training together. We can become even stronger as a team." Naruto felt his heart swell with pride and determination. He was no longer alone in this journey. With his friends by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they walked back to the academy, the village lights flickering in the twilight, Naruto made a silent promise to himself. He would become the best ninja he could be, not just for himself, but for the friends he had finally found. Together, they would forge a path of greatness and protect the village they called home. The sun rose over Konoha, casting a golden hue on the village as the day began. Naruto stood at the gates, excitement bubbling within him. Today marked the start of his first official mission as a genin, and the thrill of stepping into the field filled him with energy. He glanced over at his teammates, Sasuke and Sakura, who were discussing the mission details with their instructor, Iruka. "Are you ready, Naruto?" Sakura asked, her green eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Absolutely," Naruto replied, fists clenched in determination. "I'm gonna show everyone what we can do." Sasuke nodded, his usual calm demeanor present. "Just don't get in the way, Dobi. We have a job to do." "I won't. Trust me," Naruto exclaimed, unable to hide his grin. Iruka approached them, his expression serious. "Remember, this mission is a C rank, and it's important that you all work together. Your objective is to escort a merchant safely through the forest to the next village. Stay alert and watch each other's backs." "Got it," they chimed in unison, excitement and seriousness mingling in the air. As they set off from the village, Naruto could feel the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders. This mission would not only test his abilities but also his growth as a shinobi. He had been training relentlessly, utilizing his powers to become more skilled and strategic. But now it was time to put them into practice. The trio traveled through the lush green forests, the sound of chirping birds and rustling leaves surrounding them. Naruto felt invigorated by the fresh air and the thrill of adventure. He stole glances at Sasuke and Sakura, who were focused and alert. It was comforting to know they were in this together. As they approached a clearing, Naruto suddenly stopped, his instincts kicking in. "Wait," he said, holding a hand up to signal his teammates. "I sense something off." Sakura furrowed her brow. "What do you mean?" "I don't know, but it feels like someone's watching us," Naruto replied, scanning the surroundings. Sasuke nodded, his sharp gaze darting through the trees. "Stay on guard. It could be a trap." Just as he spoke, a group of bandits emerged from the shadows, weapons drawn and menacing smiles plastered on their faces. Well, what do we have here? A bunch of little genin thinking they can protect a merchant," their leader sneered. The merchant cowered behind Naruto, his face pale with fear. Naruto stepped forward, confidence surging within him. "We're not afraid of you. You picked the wrong targets today." Sasuke positioned himself beside Naruto, ready for a fight. "Let's show them what we can do," he said, preparing his shuriken. Before the bandits could react, Naruto quickly formed a series of hand signs, channeling his chakra. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He summoned multiple clones that burst into existence, surrounding the bandits and blocking their escape routes. "What the?" one of the bandits shouted, startled by the sheer number of Naruto's clones. "Now!" Naruto commanded his clones, and they charged at the bandits with a coordinated attack. Each clone moved with precision, catching the bandits off guard. "Get back!" the leader yelled, trying to fend off the oncoming clones. But Naruto had anticipated their every move. He had been practicing not only his techniques but also his ability to strategize and predict his opponent's actions. While his clones engaged the bandits, Naruto focused his chakra and manipulated light to create blinding flashes, disorienting the attackers further. "Now, Sasuke!" With Naruto providing cover, Sasuke unleashed a volley of shuriken, expertly hitting several bandits before they could regain their footing. "You're getting better at this, Dobi," he called out, a hint of approval in his tone. "Thanks. Let's finish this," Naruto shouted, exhilaration coursing through him as he witnessed their plan coming together. Sakura, having gathered her courage, joined the fray. She activated her chakra control and aimed to provide support, using her knowledge of medical ninjutsu to keep the merchant safe while also assisting with combat. "I'll help keep him safe," she yelled, determination shining in her eyes. With Naruto and Sasuke distracting the bandits, they fought back fiercely, relying on teamwork and synergy. The bandits quickly realized they were outmatched and began to retreat. But Naruto wouldn't let them escape so easily. "Not so fast, Shadow Clone Barrage," he shouted, sending his clones racing after them. The clones overwhelmed the remaining bandits, forcing them to surrender. As the dust settled, the bandits lay defeated on the ground, groaning in defeat. The merchant emerged, astonished by the display of teamwork and skill. "Thank you. I didn't think you would be able to handle them." Iruka, who had been monitoring the mission from a distance, approached with a proud smile. "You did well, team. You worked together effectively and protected the merchant. I'm proud of your efforts." Naruto beamed at the praise, his heart swelling with pride. He had proven himself, not just to Iruka, but to himself and his teammates. As they made their way back to Konoha, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling of exhilaration. He had faced real danger and come out victorious alongside his friends. But as they returned, whispers began to circulate among their classmates about Naruto's abilities. "Did you see how he handled those bandits? It was like he was a genius," one classmate remarked. "Yeah, it's kind of unfair," another replied, a hint of jealousy in their voice. "He's not even trying, and we're working our butts off." Naruto's heart sank slightly at the murmurs, but he pushed the thoughts aside. He was grateful for his powers, but he didn't want to overshadow his friends or make them feel inferior. Later, during their next training session, Naruto could sense a shift in the atmosphere. Some of his classmates watched him with envy, whispering among themselves. It stung more than he expected. Sasuke, ever observant, caught onto the tension. "Ignore them, Naruto. You did well today. And that's what matters. Focus on getting better." "Yeah. I just don't want anyone to think I'm showing off," Naruto admitted, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. "Who cares what they think?" Sakura chimed in, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You've worked hard for your skills. You should be proud of yourself." Naruto nodded, gratitude filling his heart. "Thanks, you guys. I'll try to keep my head up." Despite the jealousy brewing among some of his classmates, Naruto remained determined to focus on his training and the bonds he had forged with Sasuke and Sakura. Each mission, each training session, brought them closer together, and he knew that as long as they supported one another, they could achieve greatness. As days turned into weeks, Naruto continued to excel, taking on missions that tested his abilities. He honed his powers further, gaining confidence and developing a reputation as a formidable shinobi. Yet, with each achievement came new challenges. Jealousy and rivalry began to simmer among some of the other genin, particularly those who felt overshadowed by Naruto's skills. But for Naruto, the most important thing was the bond he shared with Sasuke and Sakura. They were his teammates, his friends, and together, they would face whatever obstacles lay ahead. Standing atop the Hokage monument one evening, overlooking the village he loved, Naruto felt a sense of purpose ignite within him. He was on his way to becoming Hokage. And he would prove that he was worthy of the title, not just through his powers but through his heart and the connections he forged along the way. With determination gleaming in his eyes, he vowed to protect his friends and the village, no matter what challenges awaited him. The future was bright, and Naruto Uzumaki was ready to embrace it head-on. The sun had barely crested the horizon when Naruto stood at the gates of the Hidden Leaf Village, an electric mix of excitement and anxiety coursing through him. Today was the day he would embark on his first wave mission, an opportunity to prove himself not just to his teammates, but to the entire village. "Are you ready, Naruto?" Sakura asked, her voice filled with enthusiasm as she adjusted her forehead protector. "Ready as I'll ever be," Naruto replied, a broad grin spreading across his face. He felt the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders, but he was determined to rise to the occasion. Sasuke stood nearby, arms crossed and his expression calm, though a flicker of anticipation danced in his eyes. "Just don't mess this up," he warned. "We have a job to do." "Who are you calling a mess up?" Naruto retorted playfully, nudging Sasuke's shoulder as they moved to gather near Iruka. Their instructor, Iruka Amino, approached with a serious expression. "Listen up, team. Today, you'll be tasked with escorting a merchant through the Forest of Death. There's been an increase in bandit activity, so you need to stay alert. Remember, this is a wave mission, meaning you'll have to deal with multiple threats. Your goal is to protect the merchant at all costs." Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline at the thought of facing real danger. "We can handle it," he exclaimed, determination blazing in his eyes. "Good. Let's move out," Iruka ordered, leading the way through the village gates. As they traversed the forest, Naruto took in the sights: towering trees, vibrant foliage, and the sounds of wildlife surrounding them. Despite the beauty of the scenery, he remained vigilant, aware that danger could lurk behind any corner. The merchant walked alongside them, a stout man with a weathered face and a nervous demeanor. "Thank you for helping me," he said, glancing around nervously. "I've heard stories about the bandits attacking travelers." "Don't worry. We'll protect you," Naruto reassured him, trying to instill confidence. They moved deeper into the forest, and soon, Naruto felt a prickling sensation at the back of his neck, an instinct honed by his powers. "Something's not right," he murmured, glancing at his teammates. "Stay sharp," Sasuke said, scanning the trees with his keen eyes. Just as they continued, a rustle in the underbrush caught their attention. Suddenly, a group of bandits emerged, weapons drawn, with menacing grins plastered across their faces. Well, what do we have here?" their leader sneered, eyeing Naruto and his team. "A bunch of kids thinking they can stop us? Hand over the merchant, and we'll let you leave with your skin intact." Naruto's heart raced, but he felt the warmth of his chakra within him, a constant reminder of the power he wielded. "Not a chance," he shouted, stepping protectively in front of the merchant. "Stay behind us," Sakura instructed, positioning herself beside Naruto and Sasuke, who was already preparing his shuriken. The bandits laughed, clearly underestimating the trio. "Let's see what you can do," the leader taunted. In that moment, Naruto felt a surge of confidence. He raised his hand, forming a series of quick hand signs. Shadow Clone Jutsu. With a flourish, dozens of clones sprang into existence, surrounding the bandits and blocking their escape routes. The sheer number of clones startled the attackers, their bravado faltering. "What the?" one of the bandits exclaimed, eyes wide with disbelief. "Now, let's show them what teamwork looks like," Naruto shouted, rallying his clones. As the clones charged forward, Naruto focused on manipulating light, creating a blinding flash that caught the bandits off guard. "Go! Go! Go!" he yelled, coordinating his clones to attack from multiple angles. Sasuke took the opportunity to launch his shuriken, precision guiding each projectile as they struck true. "They're disoriented. Push forward," he commanded, his calm demeanor unshaken amidst the chaos. With Naruto providing cover, the clones overwhelmed the bandits. "Don't let them regroup," Sakura shouted, activating her chakra-enhanced strength to knock down a bandit attempting to flee. The battle was chaotic, but Naruto felt exhilarated. He maneuvered his clones like a conductor, orchestrating their movements with the skill he had developed through intense training. They fought with precision, and the bandits struggled to counter the onslaught. In a crucial moment, the bandit leader regained his composure and charged at Naruto, swinging his sword with reckless abandon. "I'll take you down myself," he shouted. "Not if I can help it," Naruto replied, channeling his chakra to enhance his reflexes. He ducked under the swing and countered with a swift kick that sent the leader staggering back. The bandit, infuriated, lunged again, but Naruto focused, channeling the light around him into a brilliant flash. "Light manipulation," he called out, creating a blinding beam that momentarily blinded the attacker. Sasuke seized the moment, darting in with swift movements. "Now!" He delivered a powerful kick to the bandit leader, sending him crashing into the ground. With the leader down, the remaining bandits quickly lost their will to fight. One by one, they began to flee, scrambling back into the depths of the forest. As the last of the bandits disappeared, Naruto stood panting, exhilaration coursing through him. He turned to see the merchant staring at them, wide-eyed with disbelief. You did it! You actually fought them off?" "Of course we did," Naruto said, grinning from ear to ear. "Teamwork makes the dream work, right?" Iruka arrived moments later, having observed the battle from a distance. "Well done, team. You handled that situation with remarkable skill," he praised, a proud smile spreading across his face. As they began the journey back, Naruto felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had proven not just his abilities but also his dedication to his teammates. Yet, as they returned to Konoha, he noticed whispers among the other genin as they discussed the mission. "Did you see how Naruto handled those bandits?" One voice said, tinged with envy. "He's like a genius or something." "Yeah. It's not fair. We all worked hard. And he just uses that weird power of his." Another chimed in. Naruto's heart sank slightly at the murmurs. But he pushed the thoughts aside. He had faced real danger. And the bond he shared with Sasuke and Sakura mattered more than the opinions of others. Later that evening, during training, Naruto felt the weight of jealousy around him. A few of his classmates shot him glances filled with envy. Their earlier admiration now tinged with resentment. "Why does he get all the attention?" one of them muttered to a friend, clearly referring to Naruto. Sasuke, ever observant, caught onto the tension and walked over to Naruto. "Ignore them. You did well today. Focus on getting better." "Yeah. I just don't want anyone to think I'm showing off," Naruto admitted, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. "You've worked hard for your skills. Be proud of yourself," Sakura encouraged, standing beside him with a determined look. With their support, Naruto nodded, grateful for their friendship. "Thanks, you guys. I'll keep pushing forward." Despite the jealousy simmering among some of his classmates, Naruto remained focused on improving himself. He knew that as long as he had Sasuke and Sakura by his side, he could navigate any challenge that came their way. As the days passed, Naruto took on more missions, honing his abilities and developing a reputation as a formidable shinobi. He learned to use his powers strategically, outsmarting enemies and protecting his teammates at every turn. With each success, he felt the weight of expectations grow. While he reveled in the thrill of his achievements, he also sensed the pressure mounting from those who viewed him as a rival. Standing atop the Hokage monument one evening, gazing out over Konoha, Naruto contemplated his journey. He had faced numerous challenges, but he knew that this was just the beginning. His dreams of becoming Hokage burned brightly in his heart, and he would prove himself worthy of the title, not just through his power, but through the bonds he formed along the way. With renewed determination, Naruto vowed to protect his friends and the village. No matter the obstacles ahead, he was ready to embrace the journey and face whatever awaited him with courage and heart. As the sun rose over the Hidden Leaf village, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Naruto Uzumaki stood atop a rocky outcrop, staring out at the training grounds below. Today marked the beginning of a new chapter in his journey, the preparation for the Chunin exams. He felt a surge of excitement mixed with determination coursing through him. He was ready to push his limits and embrace the challenges ahead. With a deep breath, Naruto leapt down from the outcrop, landing with a thud on the grassy ground below. He glanced around, spotting a few familiar faces scattered across the training area. Teams were already hard at work, each preparing for the impending exams in their own way. He noticed Sakura practicing her chakra control, Sasuke training with a kunai, and other genin working diligently on their techniques. "Alright, time to train," Naruto shouted, pumping his fist in the air, drawing the attention of his teammates. "Don't shout so early, Naruto," Sakura scolded playfully, though she couldn't hide her smile. "You'll wake the whole village." "I'm just excited," he replied, his enthusiasm infectious. "We need to train hard if we want to impress everyone during the exams." "Let's do it then," Sasuke said, his eyes focused and determined. With a plan in mind, they divided their training into segments: physical conditioning, strategy drills, and the refinement of their techniques. Naruto felt the familiar warmth of his chakras surrounding him, a constant reminder of the powers he had awakened. He was determined to take full advantage of it during this crucial time. As they trained, Naruto began to explore his newfound abilities. His connection to light had deepened, allowing him to create and manipulate constructs made of pure energy. He concentrated, summoning a shimmering sword of light in his hand, its blade glowing fiercely. "Whoa! That's so cool, Naruto!" Sakura exclaimed, her eyes wide with awe. "Can you really fight with that?" "Let's find out," Naruto declared, swinging the light sword with precision, leaving a trail of luminescence in its wake. He felt the weight of the weapon, its ethereal form flickering with power. With a flick of his wrist, Naruto formed a shield made of light in front of him, bracing himself as he directed it toward a training dummy. The shield absorbed the impact, glowing brightly before dispersing into tiny sparkles. "All right. I think I'm getting the hang of this," he cheered, grinning widely. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, clearly impressed. "You're progressing fast. Keep it up, and you might just surpass everyone in the exams. Just don't forget about us when you're a Chunin," Sakura teased, playfully nudging him. As the days passed, Naruto dedicated himself to training harder than ever. He pushed his physical limits, sprinting through the forest, practicing jutsu, and honing his combat skills. But it wasn't just about personal growth. He felt an urge to help others along the way. One afternoon, while practicing at the training grounds, he noticed a group of younger genin struggling to master the basics of the clone technique. Their frustration was palpable, and Naruto recognized the opportunity to step in as a mentor. "Hey, everyone, need some help?" he called out, waving his hand. The group turned to him, their expressions a mix of hope and uncertainty. "We can't get it right," one of them admitted, scratching his head. "No matter how hard we try, our clones just disappear." Naruto chuckled, remembering his own struggles. "I was just like you guys. But I figured out a trick that helped me. Want to give it a shot?" With their nods of agreement, Naruto gathered the genin around him, demonstrating the hand signs and focusing his chakra. It's all about finding your rhythm and channeling your chakra correctly. "Here, let me show you." As he performed the clone technique, a dozen identical clones sprang into existence, each one smiling and mimicking his movements. "See? Just like that. Now you try," encouraging them. He walked around the group, offering tips and motivation. After a few attempts, the genin began to succeed, their faces lighting up with joy as their clones held solid forms. "I did it! I really did it!" one of the younger genin squealed, bouncing on his heels. "Great job! Just remember to keep practicing," Naruto said, a proud smile stretching across his face. Word of Naruto's willingness to help spread quickly, and soon, more genin sought him out for guidance. He found himself leading impromptu training sessions, sharing not just techniques, but also his own experiences, teaching them the importance of perseverance and teamwork. As he mentored others, Naruto felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He was no longer just a student training for his own success. He was helping to uplift those around him, fostering a sense of camaraderie among his peers. This newfound role suited him well, and he embraced it wholeheartedly. "Hey, Naruto," Sakura called out one day as they wrapped up a training session. "You've been amazing with the younger genin. It's great to see you taking charge." "Thanks, Sakura. I just remember how tough it was for me when I started. If I can make it easier for them, why not?" he replied, a hint of pride evident in his voice. As the Chunin exams approached, Naruto's training intensified. He began to incorporate the light constructs into his combat style, blending them with his other jutsu. He visualized scenarios in which he could combine his abilities effectively during battles. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Naruto gathered with his teammates to strategize for the upcoming exams. They found a quiet spot on the training grounds, illuminated by the fading light. "All right, let's talk about our strengths," Sasuke suggested, leaning against a tree. "I think we should focus on our teamwork," Sakura added. "If we combine our skills, we'll be unstoppable." Naruto nodded eagerly. "I can use my light constructs to create barriers or distractions. You guys can attack while I keep the enemies off balance." As they brainstormed, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and determination. Naruto felt a sense of unity growing among them. A bond forged not just through shared experiences, but through their collective goals. "I believe in us," Naruto declared, a fierce light burning in his eyes. "We'll show everyone what we can do at the Chunin exams. No one can stop us." With their spirits lifted and their minds focused, the trio continued to train, practicing their techniques late into the night. Naruto's leadership began to shine as he encouraged his teammates, fostering a sense of confidence within them. As the days dwindled down to the start of the Chunin exams, Naruto felt a newfound purpose ignite within him. He wasn't just fighting for his dreams. He was fighting for his friends, for the village, and for a future where they could stand together as equals. In the quiet moments before bed, he reflected on how far he had come. The boy who had once been alone and ridiculed now stood on the precipice of greatness, ready to embrace the challenges that awaited him in the Chunin exams. "I'm going to become Hokage," he whispered to himself, determination radiating from his core. "And I'll do it with my friends by my side." With that thought, he closed his eyes, falling into a deep, restful sleep, filled with dreams of battles fought, victories won, and a bright future ahead. The day of the Chunin exams dawned bright and clear, the sun rising majestically over the hidden leaf village, casting golden rays that illuminated the training grounds and the Hokage monument. Naruto Uzumaki stood at the entrance of the arena, heart racing with excitement and anticipation. Today was the day he would take a significant step toward achieving his dream of becoming Hokage. And he was ready to seize the moment. "Are you ready, Naruto?" Sakura asked, adjusting her forehead protector as they gathered with their fellow genin. "Born ready," he declared, flashing a confident grin that seemed to radiate his enthusiasm. He could feel the electric energy in the air, a mixture of anxiety and determination that surrounded all the participants. Sasuke stood nearby, his usual stoic demeanor replaced with a focused intensity. "Let's just do our best," he said, cracking a rare smile. As they made their way into the arena, the atmosphere buzzed with the murmurs of excited spectators and the palpable tension among the competing teams. Naruto took a deep breath, feeling the rush of adrenaline course through his veins. This was it. The moment they had all trained for. The proctor, a stern-looking ninja with a no-nonsense attitude, stood at the center of the arena, calling the participants to order. "Welcome to the Chunin exams. This first phase will test your knowledge and skills in a written exam. You have 2 hours to complete it. Failure to finish will result in immediate disqualification." Naruto glanced around at the other genin, some appearing anxious while others wore confident smirks. He felt a surge of determination. He wouldn't let anyone intimidate him. As the exam papers were distributed, Naruto's heart raced. He glanced down at the questions, his confidence wavering momentarily as he scanned the complex topics. Strategy, jutsu knowledge, village history. The questions felt overwhelming. "Just breathe," he whispered to himself, channeling the calmness he had cultivated during his training. Remembering the importance of focusing on his strengths, he decided to approach the exam differently. Suddenly, he noticed his teammates glancing at their papers, their expressions revealing the same mixture of confusion and frustration he felt. "I can't let them down," he thought, summoning the powers of Veldanava deep within him. Closing his eyes for a brief moment, he focused on the light surrounding him, filtering out distractions. "Light manipulation," he murmured, extending his senses to encompass his teammates. A gentle glow enveloped Sakura and Sasuke, providing them with clarity and confidence. "Focus on your strengths," he whispered to them, using telepathy to send encouragement. "You know more than you think." Sakura's eyes widened in surprise as she felt Naruto's presence in her mind. "Naruto?" she thought back, a mix of amazement and gratitude in her expression. "Just keep your head in the game," he encouraged, nudging them toward the questions they excelled at. Meanwhile, he kept an eye on the other participants, especially those who seemed to be cheating or creating distractions. A small group was whispering conspiratorially, trying to intimidate others into giving up their answers. Naruto knew he couldn't let this deception stand. With a flick of his wrist, he conjured a light construct in the shape of a small, floating orb, directing it toward the group. The orb pulsed with energy, emitting a soft glow that caught the attention of the nearby proctors. "What the?" one of the proctors exclaimed, noticing the unusual display. The group of cheaters faltered, their confidence wavering under the sudden scrutiny. "Nice job, Naruto," Sasuke whispered, noticing the chaos he had sown among the cheaters. With the distraction in place, Naruto turned his attention back to his own paper. He began to jot down answers with renewed confidence, letting the knowledge flow through him. He might not have been the smartest student in the academy, but he had trained hard, and his instincts kicked in, guiding him through the questions. The atmosphere shifted as the minutes ticked away. Some genin were frantically scribbling, while others remained calm. Naruto kept his focus, ensuring his teammates stayed on track as he provided them with additional encouragement through his powers. "Just trust your gut. You've got this," he sent to them, feeling the bond of camaraderie strengthen with each reassuring thought. As the time limit approached, the proctor announced, 30 seconds remaining. Make sure to check your answers. With a final burst of focus, Naruto completed his exam, glancing over at Sakura and Sasuke. They appeared more composed now, each engrossed in their answers. When the time was finally called, Naruto felt a rush of relief wash over him. He had done his best, and more importantly, he had supported his friends. As they submitted their papers, the tension in the air transformed into a sense of shared accomplishment. "We did it," Naruto exclaimed, pumping his fist in the air, eliciting a few chuckles from his teammates. "Now, let's see if our hard work pays off," Sasuke said, a smirk playing on his lips. Once the papers were collected, the proctor turned to the gathered genin. "Now that the written exam is complete, we will review your answers. In the meantime, prepare yourselves for the second phase, which will take place in the Forest of Death." The announcement sent a wave of murmurs through the crowd. The Forest of Death was infamous for its dangers and the fierce competition among participants. Naruto could feel the excitement building within him. This was where he would truly test his skills and his growth. As the exam proctor began to call out names for the results, Naruto couldn't help but feel a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. He had prepared himself for this moment, but he also knew that each competitor would bring their unique strengths and challenges. When his name was finally called, Naruto approached the front, his heart pounding. "Naruto Uzumaki," the proctor read aloud. "You scored 100 points. Congratulations. You passed." "Yes," Naruto shouted, a victorious cheer erupting from his lips. "I passed. We all did." Sasuke and Sakura joined him, their smiles radiant. "You really did it, Naruto," Sakura said, her eyes shining with pride. As the remaining names were called, Naruto felt the camaraderie grow among the teams. The pressure and anxiety that had once loomed over them transformed into a collective resolve to face the challenges ahead. Once everyone had received their scores, the proctor concluded, "Now that you have passed the written exam, you will prepare for the next phase in the Forest of Death. Be ready for anything. This will test your skills, teamwork, and resolve like never before." Naruto's heart raced with anticipation. "I can't wait to show everyone what we've got," he shouted, his confidence soaring. As they exited the arena, Naruto felt the energy of the village surge around him. This was his moment, a chance to shine, to prove himself, and to take a step closer to his dreams. The Chunin exams were just beginning, and he was determined to face whatever lay ahead with unwavering courage and the support of his friends. Together, they would overcome the trials and emerge stronger than ever before. As Naruto stepped into the ominous expanse of the Forest of Death, a chill ran down his spine. The dense trees loomed overhead like ancient sentinels, their gnarled branches intertwining to create a shadowy canopy that blocked out much of the sunlight. The atmosphere felt heavy with danger, and the air buzzed with tension. It was a place known for its treachery, where many would-be Chunin had fallen victim to the wilderness or their fellow competitors. "Stay alert, everyone," the proctor warned as the genin entered the forest. "The second phase of the Chunin exams begins now. You'll face various dangers, including traps and rival teams. Remember, your goal is to collect the opposing team's scroll and reach the tower in the center of the forest. You have 5 days to complete this challenge." Naruto exchanged determined glances with Sakura and Sasuke. "We can do this," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. "Let's stick together and watch each other's backs." With a shared nod, the trio set off into the heart of the forest, moving cautiously through the underbrush. Naruto could feel the pulsating energy of his powers resonating within him, a comforting reminder that he was not alone in this challenge. He focused on the light around them, letting it guide his senses as they moved deeper into the wilderness. As they navigated through the thicket, Naruto's keen awareness of his surroundings heightened. He noticed the way the leaves rustled differently in certain areas, signaling hidden traps, and he pointed them out to his teammates. "Over there. Watch your step," he called, his eyes sharp as he gestured to a hidden wire that could trigger a series of deadly shuriken. Sasuke smirked. Impressed. Nice catch, Naruto. You really are getting better at this. Thanks. Just doing what I can, Naruto replied, feeling a swell of pride as he helped them navigate the forest safely. They moved steadily, avoiding pitfalls and traps. The bond between them strengthening as they shared in the challenges. After several hours of careful traversal, the team paused near a small clearing to catch their breath. I can't believe how many traps there are, Sakura said, wiping the sweat from her brow. We need to be careful. I don't want to get hurt out here. Naruto nodded, his brow furrowed in concentration. We can't let our guard down. It's only going to get tougher from here. We should keep moving. Just as they prepared to set off again, an unsettling feeling crept over Naruto. He turned his gaze toward the deeper shadows of the forest, sensing an ominous presence approaching. Everyone, stay close, he warned, instinctively summoning a shield of light around them. A chilling laugh echoed through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. How fortunate it is to find such promising young genin wandering through my territory. A figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in dark robes. A serpentine menace with long, flowing hair. Orochimaru. Sasuke hissed, recognizing the infamous rogue ninja. Ah, how delightful to be remembered, Orochimaru said, a sly smile creeping across his lips. I've come to see just how strong the new generation has become. Perhaps I'll take one of you as my next experiment. Not a chance, Naruto shouted, stepping forward, a fierce light igniting in his eyes. He could feel the weight of his powers surging as he prepared to defend his friends. You're not getting anyone, Orochimaru chuckled darkly, unfazed. You think you can stop me? Very well. Let's see what you can do. Without warning, Orochimaru lunged at them, his movements swift and serpentine. Naruto quickly called upon his powers, creating a barrier of light to protect Sakura and Sasuke. The light flickered and pulsed as Orochimaru struck against it, momentarily halted by the force of Naruto's will. Now, Naruto shouted, focusing his chakra to strengthen the barrier. Sasuke. Sakura. Let's counterattack. Sasuke nodded, his Sharingan activated as he prepared to strike. I'll distract him. He dashed toward Orochimaru, throwing shuriken to create an opening. Sakura followed close behind, ready to support him. In the midst of the chaos, Naruto tapped into his newfound abilities, manipulating light constructs to form weapons and shields that would aid his teammates. He created a glowing sword of light, aiming it at Orochimaru. You won't get away with this. But Orochimaru was relentless. With a flick of his wrist, he summoned snakes from his sleeves, launching them at Naruto and his friends. I'll enjoy watching you struggle, he taunted. Naruto acted quickly, forming a barrier with his light constructs to deflect the snakes. Sakura. Use your strength, he yelled, recalling their training. Right. She shouted, channeling her chakra into her fists and striking the ground, causing a shockwave that threw the snakes off balance. Sasuke took advantage of the opening, launching himself at Orochimaru. You'll pay for underestimating us, he declared, his kunai gleaming with determination. With a swift move, Naruto joined the fray, swinging his sword of light to distract Orochimaru, drawing his attention away from Sasuke. Focus on me. I won't let you harm them. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed, surprised by Naruto's tenacity. You're stronger than you look, boy. But you're still no match for me. He countered with a powerful jutsu, summoning dark energy that threatened to engulf them. Feeling the pressure, Naruto drew upon the depths of his abilities. I won't let you hurt them. He concentrated fiercely, channeling his chakra to amplify his light manipulation. With a burst of will, he created a radiant beam of light that shot toward Orochimaru, illuminating the clearing and pushing back the dark energy. The clash of energies sent shockwaves through the forest, and for a moment, it seemed as though light and darkness were locked in a desperate struggle. Naruto's friends watched in awe as he stood firm, his determination shining brighter than ever. Keep going, Naruto. Sakura cheered, her faith in him unwavering. With a final surge of power, Naruto broke through Orochimaru's attack, the radiant light enveloping the rogue ninja and forcing him back. Orochimaru recoiled, surprised by the force of Naruto's abilities. Very impressive. But this is not over, Orochimaru hissed, retreating into the shadows, his dark laughter echoing through the trees. I'll be watching you, young Uzumaki. This isn't the last you'll see of me. As silence fell over the clearing, Naruto let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. He turned to his teammates, a grin spreading across his face. We did it. We stood up to him. Yeah. But we can't let our guard down, Sasuke said, still on high alert. He's dangerous. Sakura nodded, her expression serious. We need to be more careful. There are likely other teams out here, too. Naruto felt the adrenaline coursing through him, but he also recognized the weight of their situation. Let's keep moving. We need to find a scroll and reach the tower before time runs out. As they resumed their journey through the forest, a sense of solidarity enveloped them. The encounter with Orochimaru had solidified their bond, reinforcing the trust they had in one another. I'll protect you guys, Naruto declared, determination shining in his eyes. No matter what happens, we'll make it through this together. With newfound resolve, they pushed deeper into the forest, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The forest of death had tested their limits, but together, they would overcome. The dense shadows of the forest of death closed in around Naruto, creating an oppressive atmosphere that heightened his senses. He could feel the tension lingering in the air from his earlier confrontation with Orochimaru. It had been a narrow escape, but he knew that the rogue ninja wouldn't simply walk away. As they pressed deeper into the forest, the gravity of the situation weighed heavily on his shoulders. Stay sharp, Naruto instructed, his voice steady but urgent. Orochimaru is still out there, and he won't hesitate to attack again. Sasuke nodded, his eyes scanning their surroundings, while Sakura kept close, her determination reflecting in her features. They had formed a formidable team, and each of them had grown stronger since their last encounter. Yet, the memory of Orochimaru's sinister presence lingered like a dark cloud over them. Let's find a safe place to rest, Sakura suggested, glancing around for a clearing. We need to regroup and plan our next move. After a short search, they stumbled upon a small grove surrounded by tall trees. It seemed relatively safe, so they settled in, catching their breath and reviewing their situation. We should discuss our next steps, Sasuke said, his expression serious. We need to find a scroll, but if Orochimaru is still after us, we have to be ready. Naruto felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. I won't let him hurt either of you again, he declared, his voice filled with conviction. I'll protect you, no matter what it takes. Sakura smiled at him, gratitude shining in her eyes. We know, Naruto. We believe in you. As they strategized, Naruto began to sense a familiar presence in the air, one that sent chills down his spine. He recognized the faint aura of dark chakra surrounding them, a sure sign that Orochimaru was drawing near. He's here, Naruto whispered, a mix of fear and determination igniting within him. Suddenly, the air around them grew cold, and a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness. Orochimaru stood before them, his eyes gleaming with malice. Did you really think you could escape me? He hissed, his voice laced with amusement. Get away from us, Sasuke shouted, stepping in front of Sakura defensively. Naruto stepped forward, determination burning in his chest. You'll have to go through me first, Orochimaru chuckled, his amusement apparent. You're a bold one, Naruto Uzumaki. But you're just a child. What can you possibly do against someone like me? With that, Naruto felt the power of Veldanava surging within him, a warmth that wrapped around his heart and ignited his spirit. He knew this was his moment to showcase the extent of his abilities. You're about to find out, he declared, confidence flooding his voice. As Naruto drew upon his powers, he focused on the light that surrounded him. He channeled the energy into his hands, creating brilliant constructs of light that shimmered like stars. A radiant sword formed in his grip, glowing with ethereal energy. I won't back down. Orochimaru's expression shifted, surprise flickering across his face as he observed the light radiating from Naruto. Interesting, he mused, his curiosity piqued. You have potential, but potential alone won't save you. With a flick of his wrist, Orochimaru unleashed a swarm of snakes toward Naruto, their fangs bared and ready to strike. Without hesitation, Naruto swung his sword of light, cleaving through the serpentine attackers with precision and grace. The light sliced through them effortlessly, illuminating the grove as Orochimaru's attacks were rendered powerless. Impressive, Orochimaru admitted, a hint of respect creeping into his voice. But let's see how you handle this. He summoned a dark jutsu, tendrils of shadow spiraling around him as he unleashed a torrent of chakra. The energy surged toward Naruto, an overwhelming force that threatened to consume him. In that moment, Naruto felt Veldanava's presence guiding him, pushing him to tap deeper into his abilities. He focused on the light, channeling it into a massive barrier that expanded outward, clashing with Orochimaru's dark tendrils. The two forces collided, creating a blinding flash that illuminated the entire grove. Now, Naruto shouted, summoning all his strength. He redirected the light, forming it into beams that shot toward Orochimaru, piercing through the darkness. Orochimaru was momentarily caught off guard, unable to react in time as the beams struck him, causing him to stagger back. What power! He gasped, genuine surprise now etched on his face. Naruto seized the opportunity, charging forward with newfound determination. He swung his sword of light, aiming for Orochimaru, who was now visibly shaken. You underestimated me, Naruto yelled, pouring every ounce of his energy into his attack. Orochimaru quickly regained his composure, summoning a protective barrier just in time to absorb the impact. You're not as weak as I thought, he admitted grudgingly, but his eyes gleamed with a predatory intensity. However, I'm not finished yet. With a swift motion, he launched another series of snakes at Naruto. But this time, Naruto was ready. He conjured a protective shield of light, which shimmered brightly as it absorbed the attack. The snakes writhed against the barrier, unable to penetrate the radiant defense. Naruto gritted his teeth, feeling the strain of maintaining his powers. I won't give up. I won't let you win. He focused on the light surrounding him, letting it fuel his resolve. Drawing upon his powers, he unleashed a wave of energy that expanded outward, pushing back Orochimaru's snakes and momentarily disorienting the rogue ninja. Now, Sakura, Sasuke, let's finish this. Right, they shouted in unison, launching their own attacks alongside Naruto's light. Sakura channeled her strength into a powerful punch, while Sasuke followed with his kunai, aiming to flank Orochimaru from the sides. With their combined efforts, Naruto felt their energies harmonizing, amplifying his own power. The light swirled around them, forming a dazzling vortex that coalesced into a brilliant beam aimed directly at Orochimaru. Enough! Orochimaru bellowed, his eyes narrowing in determination as he summoned a darker energy to counter their combined attack. The two forces collided in an explosive burst, the resulting shockwave sending branches and leaves flying in every direction. For a moment, everything seemed suspended in time as light and darkness battled fiercely. But Naruto refused to relent. Drawing upon Veldanava's strength, he pushed forward with every ounce of willpower he had. We can do this together, he shouted, his voice echoing through the chaos. Slowly, the light began to overpower Orochimaru's darkness, engulfing him in a brilliant glow. With one final surge, Naruto unleashed all of his energy, the beam erupting forth with unstoppable force. Orochimaru staggered back, his dark jutsu crumbling under the brilliance of Naruto's light. No, this isn't possible, he shouted, eyes wide with shock as he was engulfed in the radiance. As the blinding light faded, Orochimaru found himself retreating into the shadows, forced to withdraw from the fight. You may have won this time, Naruto Uzumaki, he spat, his voice dripping with venom. But I will return. And when I do, you won't be so lucky. With that, he vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a swirling haze of energy and a heavy silence. Breathing heavily, Naruto turned to his friends, who were equally astonished by what had just transpired. Did we really just defeat Orochimaru? Sakura asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah, we did," Naruto exclaimed, a triumphant grin spreading across his face. "We worked together." Sasuke crossed his arms. A smirk playing at the corners of his lips. "Not bad, Naruto. I underestimated you. Your powers are impressive." Naruto felt a swell of pride at their words. The bond between them stronger than ever. It was all of us together. We made a great team. As they stood in the grove, recovering from their intense battle, Naruto knew that they had faced one of their greatest challenges yet. But they had emerged victorious. Stronger and more united. The Forest of Death had tested their limits. But it had also forged their friendship and trust in one another. With newfound determination, they set off again, ready to face whatever awaited them in the depths of the forest. The Chunin exams were far from over, and Naruto was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The Chunin exams had reached a fever pitch, the air thick with tension as competitors faced off in a series of high-stakes battles. After their harrowing encounter with Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura had come to terms with the challenges ahead, each determined to showcase their growth. However, the upcoming battle against Gaara of the Sand weighed heavily on Naruto's mind. Standing in the arena, Naruto could feel the eyes of the crowd upon him. They buzzed with anticipation, eager to witness the clash between him and the enigmatic figure known for his ruthless demeanor. Gaara had been a formidable opponent throughout the exams, his reputation for brutality preceding him. But Naruto was determined to prove that he could not only withstand Gaara's power but also understand the pain that lay beneath his icy exterior. "Uzumaki Naruto," the announcer called, echoing through the stadium. "Your next opponent is Gaara of the Sand." The cheers and gasps from the audience drowned out Naruto's thoughts as he stepped forward, his heart racing with excitement and apprehension. He could feel the weight of expectations resting on his shoulders. But he knew he was no longer the same naive child who had fled from mobs. He had the power of Veldanava coursing through him, enhancing his abilities beyond measure. As Gaara entered the arena, the atmosphere shifted. The crowd fell silent, awestruck by the presence of the young Jinchuriki who commanded sand with an effortless grace. His eyes were hollow, a chilling reminder of the torment that had shaped him. "Are you ready to die?" Gaara asked, his voice a low growl that sent shivers through the audience. Naruto squared his shoulders, refusing to show fear. "Not today, Gaara. I'm here to show you that you're not alone in your pain." Gaara's lips curled into a slight smirk, a glimmer of intrigue in his eyes. "Talk is cheap, Uzumaki. Let's see what you can do." With a flick of his wrist, Gaara summoned his sand, forming a massive wave that surged toward Naruto. But Naruto was ready. Channeling Veldanava's power, he created a protective barrier of light that absorbed the force of the sand. The impact sent ripples through the arena. But Naruto stood firm. "Nice try," he called, determination shining in his eyes. "But I'm not going down that easy." Naruto charged forward, his sword of light appearing in his hand as he closed the distance between them. He swung the blade, unleashing a wave of energy that sliced through Gaara's sand defenses. The attack forced Gaara to react, raising his arm to shield himself. With a grunt of exertion, Naruto pressed the attack, his strikes fueled by the adrenaline coursing through him. He dodged Gaara's counterattacks, weaving between the sand as if it were a dance. "You can't hide behind your sand forever, Gaara. You have to face your feelings." Gaara's expression darkened, the shadows of his past flickering in his eyes. "Feelings are a weakness," he hissed, unleashing a barrage of sand projectiles aimed at Naruto. Naruto's heart raced, but he knew he had to tap into his newfound abilities. He expanded his aura, the light radiating from him as he manipulated it to deflect the projectiles. "No. Feelings make you stronger. They connect us." As he deflected the sand, Naruto began to see flashes of Gaara's past, the loneliness, the fear, the hatred that had festered within him. The realization struck a chord deep within Naruto. "I understand your pain, Gaara," he shouted, using his powers to create a light construct that mirrored Gaara's own sand. In an unexpected moment, Gaara faltered, his eyes widening in surprise. "What do you know about my pain?" "I know what it's like to be alone, to feel like no one cares," Naruto replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "But you don't have to fight alone anymore." With renewed determination, Naruto launched his light construct at Gaara, the beam spiraling around him. The connection he felt with Gaara intensified, a flicker of empathy bridging the gap between them. Gaara's defenses faltered as he was caught off guard by Naruto's unexpected insight. The light engulfed him, illuminating his features as he struggled against the attack. "What is this?" he muttered, confusion mingling with anger. "Stop hiding behind the hatred. Let me help you," Naruto urged, his voice echoing through the arena. In that moment, Gaara's facade cracked, the vulnerability breaking through his hardened exterior. "I don't need help," he screamed, but his voice betrayed him, the anguish seeping through. Naruto pressed on, using the light to bind Gaara, restricting his movements without causing harm. "You do? Gaara, you don't have to keep fighting alone. Look at what you're doing." The crowd watched in stunned silence as Gaara struggled against the light. The realization began to dawn on him. His existence had been defined by loneliness, by the fear of being hurt. But Naruto's words resonated, breaking through the barriers he had built around his heart. "Let go of the pain," Naruto urged, his voice softer now. "Embrace the connections that can heal you." Gaara's breath hitched, his eyes widening as memories of his childhood flooded back, the laughter of children, the warmth of friendship, and the fleeting moments of joy that had been overshadowed by his loneliness. "No," he whispered, the realization hitting him hard. With a final push, Naruto summoned the full extent of his power, channeling Veldanava's essence into the light. "I won't let you fall into darkness." "Not now." The light enveloped Gaara completely, a blinding aura that resonated with the cries of his past. In that moment, the walls he had built began to crumble, revealing the boy who had once longed for acceptance and connection. As the light receded, Gaara fell to his knees, breathing heavily, the sand swirling around him dissipating. I'm not alone," he murmured, the realization dawning on him. Naruto, sensing the change, deactivated his binding technique. "You never were, Gaara. We're all connected in our struggles. You can find strength in friendship." The arena erupted in a mix of astonishment and applause as the spectators witnessed this profound moment of vulnerability. Gaara, who had always been perceived as a monster, was now revealed as a boy searching for solace. "Uzumaki Naruto," the announcer shouted, excitement coursing through his voice. "The winner of this match is Naruto." As Naruto stepped back, he felt a surge of relief and joy. He had not only triumphed over a formidable opponent but had also forged a connection that could lead to healing. He extended a hand toward Gaara, a gesture of friendship and understanding. "Let's change things together, Gaara," Naruto said, a smile breaking across his face. "You don't have to fight this battle alone anymore." Gaara looked up, his eyes reflecting the remnants of his old self but also a glimmer of hope. Slowly, he reached out and accepted Naruto's hand, a bond forming between them that would forever alter their destinies. The crowd erupted in applause. But for Naruto and Gaara, the battle was more than just a victory. It was the beginning of a new path, one filled with connection, understanding, and the promise of friendship. As they exited the arena together, Naruto knew that their struggles were far from over. But he felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to bring light to the darkness, not just for himself but for those who needed it most. The Chunin exams had concluded, and the echoes of cheers and applause still resonated in Naruto's mind. He stood atop the Hokage Tower, gazing out over the village of Konoha. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. It was beautiful, but the vibrant colors couldn't overshadow the tumultuous thoughts swirling within him. Naruto had emerged from the exams not just as a victor, but as a figure of attention. His battles had showcased his extraordinary abilities and revealed the depths of his potential, attracting the eyes of many friends, foes, and those who simply saw him as a curiosity. The spotlight was blinding, and while he had always yearned for recognition, the weight of it felt heavier than he had anticipated. "Hey, Naruto," a familiar voice called, breaking through his contemplation. Sasuke approached, his expression as stoic as ever, but there was a glimmer of admiration in his eyes. "You did well out there. That last fight, it was something else." Thanks, Sasuke, Naruto replied, turning to his friend with a sheepish grin. But it was really Gaara's moment too. I just wanted to show him he's not alone. Sasuke nodded, a hint of understanding passing between them. Despite their differences, they shared a bond forged in battle and tempered by mutual respect. Still, the way you handled that fight, it's not just power, it's strategy. You've changed a lot since we started at the academy. Naruto's smile faded slightly as he leaned against the railing. Yeah, I guess I have. But with all this power, I can't help but feel like I'm being watched. It's like everyone expects something from me now. That's because you've set the bar higher, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. But it doesn't mean you have to shoulder all of it alone. You have friends who will back you up. Naruto looked out over the village, taking in the sights of his home, the bustling streets, the laughter of children, the shops filled with life. It was a world he wanted to protect. But with his new abilities came a weighty responsibility. He had seen firsthand the darkness that could fester within a person. And he knew he had to be vigilant. I just don't want to let anyone down, he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. I have this power. But what if I use it wrong? What if I end up hurting someone? Sasuke tilted his head, his expression thoughtful. It's not about the power itself. It's how you choose to use it. You're not like Orochimaru or even Gaara. You care about people, Naruto. That's what will guide you. Naruto nodded, feeling the weight of his friend's words. They resonated within him, reminding him that he was not alone in this journey. The bond they shared, one of friendship, loyalty, and understanding, would be his anchor. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over Konoha, Naruto's mind wandered back to Veldanava. The power he had inherited was immense, and with it came the knowledge that he could shape the world in ways he had never imagined. He had glimpsed the threads of life and the connection that intertwined every living being. And he understood that to wield such power without wisdom was a dangerous game. I'll train harder, Naruto declared, determination sparking in his eyes. I'll make sure I use this power for good. I want to protect my friends in this village. No matter what. Sasuke smirked, a rare expression of approval. That's the spirit. Just remember, you're not doing this alone. I'll be right there with you. Yeah? Together. We'll get stronger. Naruto replied, his enthusiasm bubbling over. As they stood together, a sense of camaraderie enveloped them. They were on the brink of something greater. Friends bound by their struggles and aspirations. The path ahead was uncertain, but they were willing to face it together. The next day, as Naruto prepared to head to training, he couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. He had heard whispers among the villagers, saw the cautious glances thrown his way. Some respected him for his strength, while others regarded him with envy and suspicion. He felt the duality of admiration and fear, a reflection of the complexities of power itself. As he approached the training grounds, he noticed a familiar figure waiting for him. Sakura. She stood with her arms crossed, a determined look on her face. Naruto. There you are. I've been looking for you. What's up, Sakura? He asked, scratching the back of his head. I want to train, she declared, her eyes bright with determination. I saw how you handled those fights in the exams. And I know I can do better too. I want to become stronger. Let's do it. Naruto exclaimed, invigorated by her enthusiasm. We can work together and push each other. As they began their training session, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. He focused on honing his abilities, pushing his limits while keeping in mind the responsibilities that came with them. He was determined not only to become stronger but also to inspire those around him. Sakura, feeling invigorated by Naruto's energy, challenged him with a series of exercises. As they trained, Naruto couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in how far they had all come. They were no longer just children from the academy, they were ninjas ready to forge their own destinies. Hours flew by, and as they took a break, Naruto found himself lost in thought again. Sakura, do you think I can really be a hero? He asked, the vulnerability seeping into his voice. Sakura paused, meeting his gaze with sincerity. You already are, Naruto. You've shown everyone that you can change things for the better. Just keep being yourself. And don't forget that you have friends who believe in you. Her words filled him with warmth, grounding him amidst the chaos of expectations and responsibilities. He knew he had a long journey ahead of him, filled with challenges and obstacles. But he also had allies who would stand beside him. As they resumed training, Naruto's heart swelled with determination. He would not shy away from his powers or the attention they brought. Instead, he would embrace them, using his strength to uplift others, to forge bonds that could withstand the test of time. As the sun dipped below the horizon once more, Naruto looked out over Konoha with newfound resolve. The village he loved was worth every struggle, every challenge, and he would protect it with all his might. Let's make our dreams come true. Sakura, he shouted, his voice echoing across the training ground. Yeah, she replied, matching his enthusiasm. Together, they trained hard, knowing that the journey ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but they faced it with the knowledge that they were not alone. As long as they stood together, they could overcome anything. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the village of Konoha as Team 7 gathered for their latest mission briefing. Kakashi stood before them, flipping through his ever-present Icha paradise while his team exchanged curious glances. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation. They had been assigned a mission to find Tsunade, the legendary Sannin. Listen up, Team 7, Kakashi began, finally looking up from his book. Your mission is to locate Tsunade Senju. She's currently missing, and we need her expertise as the new Hokage. Wait, the Tsunade? Naruto exclaimed, his eyes widening. The one who's supposed to be one of the strongest kunoichi in history. This is awesome. We'll finally get to meet her. Sakura's excitement mirrored Naruto's. I've heard so much about her. If we can convince her to come back, it would be a huge win for the village. Sasuke, ever the voice of reason, crossed his arms. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to focus on finding her first. Kakashi nodded. Right. It won't be easy, though. Tsunade has been traveling, and her location is uncertain. We'll need to gather intel and follow any leads we can find. As they set off, Naruto felt a surge of determination. This was more than just a mission. It was an opportunity to meet someone he admired and perhaps even prove himself further. The journey began through dense forests and winding trails, the team navigating the landscape with the familiarity of seasoned ninjas. Over the course of their travels, Naruto found himself reflecting on the lessons he had learned since acquiring Veldanava's powers. He had developed a deeper understanding of people, realizing that everyone carried their burdens. He hoped to apply this knowledge in his interactions with Tsunade. After several days of searching, they arrived in a bustling town, its streets filled with merchants and villagers going about their lives. The aroma of delicious food wafted through the air, causing Naruto's stomach to grumble. Can we take a break? I'm starving, he whined, his enthusiasm momentarily overshadowed by hunger. Sakura laughed, rolling her eyes. Fine, but let's make it quick. We still have a mission to complete. As they enjoyed a meal, Naruto couldn't help but overhear conversations around them. People spoke in hushed tones about a legendary Sannin, her strength, and her troubled past. Each story painted a different picture, but the common thread was her immense power and the shadow of loss that hung over her. Do you think she'll even want to come back? Naruto mused, his curiosity piqued. I mean, if she's really as powerful as everyone says, she might not want the responsibility of being Hokage. That's a possibility, Kakashi replied thoughtfully. But we need to show her that Konoha is worth returning to, that it has changed since she left. After finishing their meal, Team 7 continued their search. They followed leads that directed them toward a nearby village known for its connections to Tsunade's past. The sun was setting when they arrived, casting an orange glow over the small houses. At a local tavern, they learned from a barkeeper that Tsunade had recently passed through but was now rumored to be headed toward a nearby mountain range. She's looking for something, they say, the barkeeper remarked, wiping down the counter. Some kind of treasure. Naruto's heart raced. Treasure? Maybe we can convince her to come back by helping her with that, he exclaimed, feeling a surge of excitement. Kakashi nodded, his gaze thoughtful. It's worth a shot. Let's head to the mountains. As they ventured into the rugged terrain, Naruto's mind whirled with thoughts of Tsunade. He envisioned her as a strong, independent woman, someone who had likely faced unimaginable pain. He wanted to connect with her on a deeper level, to show her that she wasn't alone, just like he had with Gaara. After hours of trekking, the team reached a secluded area where a large, ancient tree stood. Beneath its gnarled branches lay a familiar figure, Tsunade. She appeared deep in thought, her eyes scanning a collection of old maps and trinkets. "Is that her?" Sakura whispered, barely containing her excitement. "Let's approach carefully," Kakashi advised, his tone serious. Naruto took a deep breath, stepping forward with determination. "Tsunade Senju," he called, his voice clear and unwavering. She looked up, her expression one of surprise that quickly shifted to annoyance. "What do you want?" she snapped, her tone sharp. "We're from Konoha," Naruto declared, confidence bubbling within him. "We've come to find you and bring you back." Tsunade's gaze narrowed as she studied him. "And why would I want to return? You think you can convince me just because you're a loudmouth brat?" Naruto felt the sting of her words but didn't back down. "Because we believe in you? Konoha needs you. You have the power to make a difference. And you don't have to bear that burden alone." Tsunade's expression softened slightly at his earnestness. "And what makes you think you know anything about my burdens?" she challenged, crossing her arms. Naruto took a step closer, locking eyes with her. "I faced loneliness and loss too. I felt the pain of being abandoned. But I learned that we can't face those feelings alone. I want to show you that Konoha is worth fighting for, just like you fought for it once." The words hung in the air, and for a moment, silence enveloped them. Tsunade's gaze shifted from anger to contemplation, and Naruto could see the flicker of something behind her eyes, a hint of vulnerability. "You think you can change things?" she asked, her tone softer now. "You think your little village is any different from before?" "I believe it is," Naruto replied, his voice steady. "And I want to show you. Let me help you with whatever you're searching for." Tsunade regarded him for a moment, searching his eyes for sincerity. "And what if I refuse? What if I don't want to go back?" Naruto's heart raced, but he stood firm. "Then I'll keep searching until you see it too. You don't have to carry your past alone, Tsunade. You have people who care about you. People like me." The challenge in her eyes softened. And for the first time, Naruto saw a glimpse of the pain that had shaped her life. "You're just a kid," she said, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips. "You think you can handle the truth? I've faced a lot already. And I'm still standing," he insisted. "Let me show you that you're not alone in this." Tsunade took a deep breath, her defenses slowly crumbling as she recognized the truth in his words. "All right, kid. If you want to help, you better keep up." Naruto beamed, relief flooding through him. "I won't let you down." As they began to work together, Tsunade shared her knowledge of the treasure she sought, an ancient artifact that held significance to her family and her past. Naruto listened intently, soaking in her wisdom and experience. With each step they took together, Tsunade began to see Naruto not just as a brash young ninja, but as someone who carried the weight of understanding and empathy. She watched as he interacted with Sakura and Sasuke, their bond growing stronger with each shared moment. As night fell, they set up camp beneath the stars, and Tsunade found herself opening up. "You remind me of someone I once knew," she said quietly, her voice contemplative. "Someone who had dreams and hopes, who believed in the impossible." Naruto's heart raced at the thought. "You mean you're starting to believe in me? Don't get ahead of yourself, brat," she replied with a smirk, but her eyes sparkled with a warmth he hadn't expected. Days turned into nights, and as they drew closer to the artifact, Tsunade's walls began to crumble further. The bond they had forged through shared experiences and mutual respect blossomed into something deeper, a connection built on understanding and healing. By the time they finally uncovered the treasure, it was not just a relic of the past, it had become a symbol of hope. As they stood before it, Tsunade looked at Naruto. Her expression softened. "You've impressed me, kid. Maybe Konoha isn't as lost as I thought." Naruto's heart swelled with pride. "Does that mean you'll come back with us?" Tsunade smiled for the first time in a long while. "All right, Uzumaki Naruto. You've convinced me. I'll return to Konoha. But only if you promise to keep being yourself." "I promise," he exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement. As they made their way back to Konoha, Naruto felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had not only earned Tsunade's respect but had also forged a bond that transcended their differences. He understood now that true strength came from connection, from embracing the pain and struggles of others. As they approached the village, Naruto knew they would face new challenges. But with allies like Tsunade, he felt ready to take on anything that came their way. Together, they would fight for Konoha, for the bonds they had formed, and for a future filled with hope. The atmosphere in Konoha had shifted. Whispers of a new, ominous organization known as the Akatsuki floated through the village like a chilling breeze. It was said that they were a group of rogue ninjas with ambitions that threatened the very fabric of the shinobi world. Naruto felt the weight of this growing threat pressing down on him, and he knew that his newfound powers and responsibilities were about to be put to the ultimate test. As Team 7 gathered for a meeting with Kakashi, Naruto could sense the tension in the air. Kakashi stood before them, his usually relaxed demeanor replaced with a seriousness that spoke volumes. Listen carefully, everyone. Reports indicate that the Akatsuki is moving to capture tailed beasts. They're ruthless, and we must be prepared. Why would they want tailed beasts? Sakura asked, her brows furrowing in concern. They believe that harnessing their power will grant them unimaginable strength. We cannot let that happen, Kakashi replied, his tone grave. Naruto's fists clenched at the thought of anyone using the tailed beasts for their own selfish ambitions. He thought of Kurama, the 9 tails, and the bond they had formed over time. We have to protect them. We can't let the Akatsuki take anyone else, he declared, his voice full of conviction. Kakashi nodded, acknowledging Naruto's passion. I know, and that's why we need to enhance our training. We need to prepare ourselves for the worst. With their mission clear, Team 7 dedicated themselves to intense training. Naruto felt an urgency coursing through him, pushing him to tap deeper into Veldanava's divine energy. In secluded training grounds, he focused on harnessing the power that had awakened within him, determined to refine his abilities for the challenges that lay ahead. All right, Naruto, he muttered to himself during a training session. You got this. You can control it. He closed his eyes, centering himself as he felt the energy swirling around him. Light began to radiate from his body, illuminating the training area. With each breath, he visualized the divine energy flowing through him, empowering his strikes and enhancing his speed. Sakura watched in awe, her admiration for Naruto growing as he seamlessly blended his ninja techniques with the radiant powers of Veldanava. Naruto, you're amazing. It's like you're glowing, she exclaimed, clapping her hands together in excitement. Naruto opened his eyes, a grin stretching across his face. Thanks, Sakura. I feel stronger than ever. I just hope I can keep everyone safe. Sasuke, practicing nearby, smirked at Naruto's enthusiasm. You're getting cocky. But I have to admit, your control is impressive. Just don't let it go to your head. Yeah, I'll show you all. Naruto shot back playfully, feeling the competitive spirit ignite within him. As the days passed, Team 7 trained diligently, honing their skills and preparing for the inevitable clash with the Akatsuki. Meanwhile, rumors of the organization's movement spread throughout Konoha. One evening, as they finished their training, Kakashi summoned them for another meeting. There have been reports of Akatsuki members sighted near the borders of the Land of Wind. Kakashi began. They seem to be closing in on Gaara. Gaara? Naruto exclaimed, a sense of urgency rising within him. We have to warn him. Kakashi nodded. We need to act fast. I want you all to prepare for a mission. We're heading to Tsunade to assist with Gaara's protection. With the mission set, Team 7 hurried to gather supplies and inform their allies in the village. Naruto felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This was the first time he would face an organization that posed a real threat, and he was determined to protect his friends and allies. As they made their way to Tsunade, Naruto's mind raced with strategies. He envisioned how to utilize Veldanava's powers in combat, focusing on harnessing light manipulation to create barriers and blinding attacks against the Akatsuki. He remembered the stories of their ruthless tactics and knew he needed to be ready for anything. Upon arriving in Tsunade, they were greeted by the Sand Ninja, who led them to Gaara's office. The young Cage sat at his desk, his expression serious as he glanced up at the newcomers. "I've heard about the Akatsuki," he said, his voice calm yet tinged with concern. "We need to prepare for their attack." Naruto nodded, feeling a sense of camaraderie with Gaara. "We'll protect you. We won't let them take you or the One Tail." Gaara's eyes flickered with gratitude. "I appreciate that. I've seen what they can do. We need to be vigilant." As night fell, the tension in the air thickened. Naruto gathered with Team 7 and Gaara's elite guards to discuss strategies for their defense. "We should set up traps around the village to slow them down," Sasuke suggested, his eyes scanning the map spread across the table. Naruto chimed in. "And I can create barriers using my light manipulation. It'll give us an advantage if they try to invade." "Good ideas," Kakashi affirmed, guiding them through the planning. "We must stay alert and be ready for any surprise attacks." As they finished their strategies, a sudden gust of wind blew through the room, chilling them to the bone. An ominous presence washed over them, and Naruto instinctively tightened his fists. "They're coming," he whispered, his senses on high alert. Moments later, alarms blared throughout Tsunade, signaling the impending assault. Naruto could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins as he steeled himself for the confrontation. "It's time," he declared, determination etched across his face. They rushed out of the office and onto the sandy streets, where chaos erupted. Shinobi were mobilizing, forming defensive lines as they prepared for the attack. Naruto's heart raced, but he knew he had to stay focused. As they positioned themselves at the village's entrance, Naruto could see shadowy figures emerging from the distance. Akatsuki members clad in dark cloaks, their intentions clear. Among them, Naruto recognized one with distinctive long hair and a gourd on his back. Sasori, the puppet master. "Get ready," Kakashi shouted, rallying their defenses. "We won't let them through." With a surge of divine energy, Naruto felt the power of Veldanava envelop him. He concentrated on harnessing it, visualizing a radiant barrier forming around his teammates. "I'll protect everyone," he shouted, unleashing the energy as a luminous shield erupted around them. The Akatsuki members approached, their expressions masked, but Naruto could sense their menace. Sasori stepped forward, a smirk playing on his lips. "So, you're the famous Naruto Uzumaki. I've heard a lot about you. Let's see if you're as impressive as they say." Naruto met his gaze with fierce determination. "You won't take Gaara or anyone else. I won't let you." With that, the battle commenced. Naruto propelled himself forward, utilizing his enhanced speed to close the distance between himself and Sasori. As he dashed, he summoned light constructs, shaping them into dazzling projectiles that shot toward the puppet master. Sasori deftly maneuvered, his puppets coming to life as they danced around him. "You're quick, but I've dealt with faster opponents," he taunted, unleashing his puppets to counter Naruto's attacks. But Naruto was relentless. He unleashed a flurry of light-infused strikes, dazzling his enemies and creating openings for his allies. "We've got your back," he shouted to Sasuke and Sakura, who followed his lead, attacking from different angles. With each clash, Naruto felt himself tapping deeper into Veldanava's power, channeling it into his techniques. He became a beacon of light amidst the chaos, illuminating the battlefield with radiance as he fought. As the battle raged on, Naruto's connection to Veldanava deepened, allowing him to manipulate the light around him in ways he had never thought possible. He summoned barriers that absorbed attacks, blinding flashes that disoriented the enemy, and constructs that could ensnare and bind. The tide began to turn in their favor, but Sasori was far from defeated. "You think you can win so easily?" he sneered, unleashing a horde of puppets to swarm Naruto and his allies. "Don't let up," Kakashi commanded, leading the charge. "We have to press on." With a fierce determination, Naruto summoned his divine energy, channeling it into a massive light construct that took the shape of a spiraling beam. "This is for everyone you've hurt," he roared, launching it at Sasori. The beam tore through the air, illuminating the night sky. Sasori's eyes widened in shock as the attack engulfed him, overwhelming his defenses. The sheer intensity of the light shattered his puppets, leaving him vulnerable. As the dust settled, Naruto stood firm, breathing heavily but filled with resolve. We'll protect our village and everyone we care about." The remaining Akatsuki members exchanged uneasy glances, their confidence wavering in the face of Naruto's unwavering spirit and newfound power. But just as victory seemed within reach, a chilling voice echoed through the chaos. "Sasori! Retreat!" It was none other than Deidara, another Akatsuki member, whose clay creations began to detonate in a series of explosions that rocked the battlefield. Naruto's heart raced as he realized the battle wasn't over yet. "We have to regroup," he shouted, quickly assessing the situation. "Stay close, Team 7. With quick thinking, they navigated through the chaos, dodging explosions and defending against incoming attacks. Naruto's heart pounded in his chest, but he remained resolute. He knew this was just the beginning of a much larger conflict, and he was determined to face it head-on. As the dust began to settle, the Akatsuki retreated, disappearing into the shadows with their wounded. Naruto looked around at his friends and allies, feeling a mix of exhaustion and relief. They had won this battle, but the war against the Akatsuki was far from over. "Is everyone okay?" Naruto asked, scanning the group for any injuries. "I'm fine," Sakura said, panting but determined. "That was intense." Sasuke nodded, his expression serious. "We need to prepare for the next encounter. They won't give up easily." Kakashi placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, pride evident in his eyes. "You did well, Naruto. Your control over your powers is impressive." Naruto felt a swell of pride at the praise. "Thanks, Kakashi. But we have to stay vigilant. They'll come back. And next time, we need to be ready." As the night sky blanketed Tsunade, Naruto looked out toward the horizon, his heart burning with determination. The Akatsuki threat loomed, but with his friends by his side and the power of Veldanava coursing through him, he knew they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. As dawn broke over Tsunade, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. The previous night's encounter with the Akatsuki had been a wake-up call, and Naruto could feel the weight of responsibility pressing heavily on his shoulders. Team 7 gathered on a rooftop overlooking the village, the sun casting a golden hue on the sandy landscape. But the calm was deceptive. Kakashi stood before them, a serious expression on his face. "We need to prepare for another confrontation. The Akatsuki won't take their defeat lightly." Naruto clenched his fists, determination burning in his chest. "We won't back down. I'll protect all of you." He could feel Veldanava's power within him, a reservoir of divine energy ready to be unleashed. Sasuke's eyes narrowed as he looked toward the horizon. "We need to anticipate their next move. They'll come at us with a plan." "Right," Sakura chimed in, her voice steady. "We should set traps around the village to catch them off guard." Kakashi nodded. "Good thinking, Sakura. But we also need to ensure that we're ready for a direct confrontation. Naruto, your light manipulation will be crucial. I can create barriers to protect us and blinding flashes to distract them," Naruto replied, his excitement growing. The idea of using his powers in battle exhilarated him, and he could already envision the strategies he would employ. As they finalized their plans, a sudden gust of wind swept through the village, causing the sand to swirl around them. Naruto instinctively sensed a presence, and his instincts kicked in. "They're here." From the shadows, two figures emerged. Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, and Konan, his loyal companion. The air grew thick with tension as they approached, their intentions clear. Naruto felt a mixture of fear and determination as he stared at the formidable duo. "Uzumaki Naruto," Pain said, his voice calm yet chilling. "You have become quite the nuisance. We've come to collect what we want." Naruto's heart raced, but he stepped forward, fists clenched. "I won't let you hurt anyone else. We're ready for you." "Is that so?" Pain replied, his eyes narrowing as he surveyed the team. "Let's see if your resolve can withstand the reality of pain." With that, Pain raised his hand, and in an instant, he unleashed a wave of chakra that surged toward them. Naruto's instincts kicked in, and he quickly summoned a radiant barrier of light around Team 7, absorbing the brunt of the attack. "Now!" he shouted, his voice filled with urgency. Sasuke and Sakura sprang into action, executing their own techniques. Sasuke unleashed a volley of shuriken, while Sakura charged in with a powerful punch. Fueled by her determination to protect her friends, Naruto focused, channeling his light manipulation to create blinding flashes that erupted around Pain and Konan, disorienting them. "You won't get away that easily," he yelled, striking forward with a beam of concentrated light aimed directly at Pain. Pain reacted quickly, using his Rinnegan to absorb the energy, but the distraction allowed Sasuke and Sakura to close in. "Sakura, now!" Sasuke shouted, pointing to the opening Naruto had created. Sakura nodded, channeling her chakra into her fist. "This is for everyone you've hurt," she cried, delivering a powerful blow that connected with Pain's shoulder, causing him to stagger back. "Impressive," Pain said, regaining his composure. "But you're still no match for me." Naruto felt the adrenaline coursing through him, amplifying his determination. "We're not afraid of you," he shouted, channeling more of Veldanava's divine energy into his light manipulation. "Let's combine our attacks." Naruto called to his teammates. "Sasuke, use your fire style." Sasuke nodded. His Sharingan activated as he formed a fire style, Fireball Jutsu. The flames shot forward, swirling with Naruto's light constructs. "Sakura, follow up," he commanded. Sakura leapt into the air, channeling her chakra as she landed a powerful kick that sent a shockwave through the ground. "Now!" she yelled. With a synchronized effort, the combined assault slammed into Pain, who raised his arms in defense. The impact sent him flying backward, crashing into a nearby building. Dust and debris filled the air as they momentarily assessed the situation. "Did we get him?" Sakura asked, panting. Naruto didn't lower his guard. "No. It's too quiet. We have to stay alert." He focused on the rubble, ready for any counterattack. As the dust settled, Pain emerged, unfazed and with a chilling smile. "Impressive teamwork. But you're still just children playing at being heroes. Enough talk," Naruto shouted, feeling the fire within him ignite. "I won't let you hurt anyone else." He charged forward, his fists radiating with light. Pain's expression turned serious as he prepared to counter. "Let's see if you can handle this." He summoned multiple chakra orbs, launching them toward Naruto. "Protect me," Naruto shouted, creating a barrier of light around himself just in time to absorb the explosion of chakra. The force knocked him back, but he rolled to his feet, shaking off the impact. "Keep going, Naruto. We can't give up," Sakura encouraged, rushing to his side. With renewed resolve, Naruto unleashed a wave of light constructs, aiming to overwhelm Pain with speed and power. He moved with agility, striking from different angles and keeping the Akatsuki leader on the defensive. "Your powers are intriguing," Pain commented, dodging and countering. "But they are not enough to defeat me." Naruto gritted his teeth. "I'll prove you wrong." Using his enhanced speed, he launched a series of strikes, each glowing with divine energy. The light pulsed with every hit, creating a dazzling display that lit up the battlefield. Just as he was about to land a decisive blow, Konan intervened, creating a paper barrier that deflected Naruto's attack. "You're not alone in this fight, Pain," she said, her voice calm yet unwavering. Naruto felt a wave of frustration, but he knew they had to stay united. "Sasuke, we need to focus on one target. Let's take out Konan first." "Got it," Sasuke replied, preparing his next move. With a plan in mind, Naruto charged at Konan, creating constructs of light that swirled around him like a tornado. "You can't hide behind your paper," he yelled, throwing the constructs toward her. Konan's eyes widened as she dodged the attack, but Naruto had anticipated her movement. He redirected the constructs, using their light to blind her momentarily. "Now, Sasuke." Sasuke unleashed a barrage of fire-infused shuriken, hitting Konan before she could react. The explosion sent her reeling back, giving Naruto the opportunity he needed. "Let's finish this," Naruto shouted, gathering all his energy into a massive beam of light. "This is for everyone you've hurt." With a fierce determination, he unleashed the beam toward Konan, the sheer intensity illuminating the battlefield. The attack struck true, causing a significant impact that sent her crashing into the ground. "Konan!" Pain shouted, his voice filled with anger and concern. Naruto felt a surge of energy as Pain's focus shifted to him. "You'll pay for that." Pain roared, his expression darkening. But Naruto wasn't finished. He turned to his friends, his resolve unwavering. "We can't let up now. We have to push forward." With renewed determination, Team 7 regrouped, ready to face Pain with everything they had. Naruto's heart raced as he prepared for the next phase of the battle. The Akatsuki may have been formidable, but he was no longer the scared boy fleeing from the world. He was a protector, a warrior, and he wouldn't let anything stand in the way of his friend's safety. As the battle raged on, Naruto focused on harnessing Veldanava's power, blending it seamlessly with his skills and tactics. He was determined to show the Akatsuki that their threats would never extinguish the light of hope in his heart. "Let's end this," he shouted, charging forward with Sasuke and Sakura by his side, ready to face whatever the Akatsuki had in store for them. In the aftermath of the confrontation with the Akatsuki, Naruto felt a mixture of exhilaration and exhaustion. Team 7 had narrowly escaped disaster, but their victory had come at a cost. As they returned to Konoha, he couldn't shake the feeling that stronger foes awaited them, and he needed to push his abilities further. After a few days of recovery, the sun rose bright over the village, and Naruto found himself restless. He had grown in power, but he knew that to truly protect his friends in Konoha, he needed more training. It was during breakfast at Ichiraku Ramen that he overheard a familiar voice. "Is that the famous Uzumaki Naruto?" boomed Jiraiya, his signature white hair tousled and a playful grin on his face as he strolled into the ramen shop. "Jiraiya-sensei!" Naruto exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "What are you doing here?" "Just came to check on my favorite student," Jiraiya replied, leaning back in his chair as a yame filled his bowl. "I've heard you've been making quite a name for yourself." Naruto felt a rush of pride. "Yeah? We fought against the Akatsuki, and I showed off your impressive skills," Jiraiya interjected with a knowing smile. "I sensed potential in you, Naruto. You've got the makings of a great ninja, but potential means nothing without proper training." "What do you mean?" Naruto asked, his curiosity piqued. "I want to take you under my wing, teach you some advanced concepts of chakra manipulation and other techniques. With your abilities, you could become even stronger," Jiraiya offered, his tone turning serious. "Really? You'll train me?" Naruto could hardly contain his excitement. The legendary Sannin was one of the most powerful ninjas in the world, and training under him was a dream come true. "Of course. But first, we need to see just how far you can push your chakra," Jiraiya said, standing up and beckoning Naruto to follow. "Let's head to a training ground." Naruto hurried to finish his meal, nearly bouncing in his seat with enthusiasm. The two of them made their way to a secluded training ground outside the village, where the sounds of nature enveloped them in a tranquil atmosphere. "All right, Naruto. Show me what you can do," Jiraiya said, crossing his arms and observing the young ninja with keen interest. Taking a deep breath, Naruto focused his chakra, feeling the divine energy of Veldanava flowing through him. He summoned a shimmering orb of light, manipulating it with ease. "This is one of my new techniques," he declared, launching the orb at a nearby target, which exploded into a shower of light. "Impressive," Jiraiya said, nodding in approval. "But that's just the beginning. We need to work on your control and creativity with chakra. Let's start with something basic. Chakra flow." "Chakra flow?" Naruto echoed, intrigued. "Yes. It's about channeling your chakra to enhance your physical abilities. It'll help you move faster and hit harder," Jiraiya explained, demonstrating the technique by dashing forward and striking a tree, leaving a deep dent. "Got it. I'll try," Naruto said, determination filling him. He focused, visualizing his chakra flowing through his body. As he dashed toward a tree, he felt a rush of energy surging through him, and he struck the tree, causing a deep gash to appear. "Not bad," Jiraiya encouraged, his eyes gleaming with approval. "But you can do better. Keep practicing," Naruto grinned, invigorated by Jiraiya's praise. He continued to train, feeling his physical prowess enhance with each strike. As they progressed through the day, Jiraiya introduced Naruto to various advanced techniques, including chakra sensing and the concept of elemental affinities. Now, let's explore light manipulation, Jiraiya said, his expression turning serious. It's unique to you, and you must learn to harness it effectively. Focus on creating light constructs with precision. Naruto nodded, focusing his energy. He envisioned creating a sword made of pure light, concentrating until it materialized in his hand. Look, Jiraiya, he exclaimed, swinging the sword with newfound confidence. Great job. But remember, control is key. You want to create constructs that are not only powerful but also practical, Jiraiya advised. Try to visualize what you want to create and infuse your intentions into the light. With Jiraiya's guidance, Naruto practiced various forms of light constructs, shields, blades, and even creatures formed from radiant energy. Each time he succeeded, he felt a deeper connection to his powers. Realizing that Veldanava's influence was not just in raw strength but also in creativity and versatility. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Naruto and Jiraiya took a break, sitting on a log while catching their breath. You've come a long way in just one day, Jiraiya remarked, his tone filled with warmth. But this is just the beginning. Your true potential is waiting to be unlocked, and I'm excited to help you on this journey. Thanks, Jiraiya-sensei, Naruto replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. I won't let you down. I'll work harder than ever. Jiraiya chuckled, patting Naruto on the back. That's the spirit. But remember, training is only part of being a ninja. You need to learn about bonds, about people, and what it means to be a hero. Yeah, I get that, Naruto said, his eyes gleaming with determination. I want to protect everyone I care about. I want to be Hokage. Good. That kind of determination is what will help you grow. But you must also learn to understand your enemies and the world around you, Jiraiya advised, a serious note in his voice. Right? I'll learn everything I can, Naruto replied, his resolve unwavering. As they prepared to head back to the village, Naruto couldn't help but feel excited about the future. With Jiraiya's guidance and the power of Veldanava within him, he knew he was on the path to becoming a formidable ninja. His mind buzzed with possibilities as they made their way back, filled with thoughts of what the next training session would bring. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over Konoha as Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura gathered at their usual training ground. The air was filled with the sound of birds chirping and leaves rustling. But the atmosphere among Team 7 was electric with anticipation. After the intense encounters with the Akatsuki, the team knew they needed to strengthen their bonds and enhance their skills together. All right, everyone, let's get started, Naruto declared, his energy contagious as he bounced on his toes, ready to dive into training. I've been working on some cool new techniques, and I want to show you what I can do. Sasuke leaned against a tree, his arms crossed. You really think you can teach us anything? He replied, a smirk playing on his lips. You're still just the loudmouth of the team. Sakura rolled her eyes at Sasuke's sarcasm. Come on, Sasuke. Naruto has improved a lot since we first met. We should at least give him a chance. Thanks, Sakura. Naruto beamed, undeterred by Sasuke's teasing. Okay. First things first. I've learned to manipulate light energy. Watch this. Focusing his chakra, Naruto conjured a brilliant orb of light in his hand, swirling it with precision. He threw the orb into the air, where it exploded into a dazzling array of colors, showering the ground in sparkling light. Wow! Sakura gasped, her eyes wide with amazement. That's incredible. Naruto, can you really teach us how to do that? Of course. It's all about visualization and channeling your chakra, Naruto explained, his enthusiasm palpable. Sasuke, you're really good at using fire jutsu, right? Try combining it with light energy. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite his usual demeanor. Fire and light. Sounds interesting, he replied, stepping forward. Show me how to start. Naruto guided Sasuke through the process, explaining how to visualize his chakra as a flame infused with light. With Naruto's encouragement, Sasuke focused intently, channeling his chakra into a small flame that glowed brighter as he concentrated. Now, Add a bit of light energy. Naruto prompted, his excitement infectious. Sasuke followed Naruto's instructions, and soon a flickering fireball mixed with a radiant glow appeared in his hand. This is different, he admitted, a hint of surprise in his voice. He threw it at a nearby tree, and it exploded upon impact, leaving a charred mark but illuminating the area with a soft glow. That was awesome, Sasuke. Naruto cheered, clapping his hands in excitement. You got this. Sakura, feeling inspired, decided to try her hand at light manipulation as well. If Sasuke can do it, then I can too, she declared, determination lighting up her eyes. Naruto, help me. Naruto moved beside her, guiding her through the visualization process. They worked together, and with Naruto's support, Sakura summoned her own orb of light. It wobbled at first but grew more stable as she focused, and she launched it into the air, where it burst into a shower of golden sparks. Yay! I did it! Sakura squealed, a bright smile on her face as she spun around, exhilarated by her success. Great job, Sakura. You're getting the hang of it, Naruto said, feeling a surge of pride in his teammates. We're going to be an unstoppable team, as the training session continued. The trio practiced various combinations of their jutsu. They pushed each other, learning to adapt their techniques and work together. Naruto introduced them to the concept of using light as a distraction, while Sasuke showcased his mastery of strategic attacks. Sakura found her rhythm, focusing on healing techniques infused with light energy to aid her teammates during battle. After hours of training, they collapsed onto the grass, panting but exhilarated. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over their training ground, and the bond among them felt stronger than ever. I never thought we'd be able to learn from each other like this, Sakura said, glancing at her teammates with newfound appreciation. It's like we're finally becoming a real team. Yeah, Sasuke agreed, his tone softer than usual. I've always known you guys had potential. It's good to see it coming together. Naruto sat up, his eyes sparkling with excitement. And we'll keep getting stronger. We need to be ready for the Akatsuki. I won't let anything happen to you too. Sakura smiled warmly, touched by Naruto's words. You're right, Naruto. We have to stick together and support each other, no matter what. As they rested, they began to share their thoughts about the Akatsuki. The group's presence loomed over them, a constant reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. Naruto felt a determination swelling within him as he spoke. I know we can beat them, he said, his voice steady. With our skills and teamwork, we'll protect our village and each other. I can't let them hurt anyone else. Sasuke nodded, a flicker of respect in his eyes. You've changed, Naruto. Your strength isn't just about power anymore. You actually care about the team. Of course I care. You guys are my friends, Naruto replied, his heart swelling with warmth. We're in this together. As twilight fell, Team 7's laughter echoed through the training ground, a stark contrast to the dark challenges they faced. They were no longer just a group of teammates, they were a family bound by shared experiences and a common goal. That night, as they made their way back to the village, Naruto felt a sense of purpose envelop him. The bond he shared with Sasuke and Sakura was a source of strength he never thought possible. With Jiraiya's guidance and his newfound abilities, he knew they would face the Akatsuki head-on, ready to protect what they cherished most. The journey ahead was fraught with danger, but together, they could overcome any obstacle. And as they walked side by side under the starry sky, Naruto couldn't help but feel that the future held great things for Team 7. The morning sun peeked through the trees as Team 7 gathered at their training ground. But today felt different. An unspoken tension lingered in the air, and Naruto sensed that his teammate, Sasuke, was carrying a heavy weight on his shoulders. As they began their routine, Naruto decided to take a moment to address what was bothering him. Sasuke, Naruto said, his voice earnest as they paused to catch their breath. I've been thinking. You don't have to carry everything alone. You know. Sasuke shot him a skeptical glance, folding his arms. What do you mean? He replied, though Naruto could see the flicker of vulnerability in his eyes. I know you're always pushing yourself to be stronger, Naruto continued, his tone softening. But it's okay to talk about what you're feeling. We're friends. And I want to help." A moment of silence passed, and Naruto could see the internal struggle within Sasuke. Finally, Sasuke's expression shifted. A mixture of frustration and sorrow crossing his features. "You wouldn't understand," he muttered, looking away. "Try me," Naruto insisted, stepping closer. "I might surprise you." Sasuke took a deep breath, his shoulders tense. "Fine. You want to know?" "It's about my brother, Itachi." He paused, glancing at the ground. "He's the reason my family is dead. I can't just forget that." Naruto's heart sank at the mention of Itachi's name, knowing the weight of that loss. "I can't imagine what that feels like, but holding on to revenge isn't the answer," he said gently. "I learned that from my own struggles. I used to be angry at everyone who looked down on me, but that didn't help me at all." Sasuke's gaze met Naruto's, surprise flickering in his eyes. "You really think you can just let go of something like that?" Naruto nodded, recalling his own journey. "I learned that there's more to life than revenge. It's about the bonds we create, the people who care about us. I used to want to be strong for myself, but now, I want to be strong for my friends too." "Bonds?" Sasuke echoed, his voice low. "I don't even know if I can trust anyone. We're teammates, and we're friends," Naruto replied, his conviction unwavering. "You don't have to go through this alone. Let's face your brother together. You can confront him and understand what happened. You don't have to let revenge consume you." Sasuke stared at Naruto, his expression unreadable. The idea of confronting Itachi stirred a whirlwind of emotions within him: fear, anger, and something he hadn't acknowledged: hope. "Do you really think I can face him?" Sasuke asked, vulnerability breaking through his stoic demeanor. "Yeah. If we train together, you'll be ready," Naruto said, a grin spreading across his face. "And when the time comes, I'll be right there with you. We'll figure it out together." For the first time, Sasuke felt a glimmer of something he had long buried: trust. "All right," he said quietly, a tentative agreement. "But only if you promise to back me up. Always," Naruto exclaimed, his energy infectious. "Team 7 sticks together. Remember?" Sakura, who had been quietly observing, chimed in. "You both have each other's backs, and that's what matters. If we stand united, we can overcome anything." Feeling a newfound determination, Sasuke nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. Perhaps, confronting Itachi wouldn't be the end of his journey but a new beginning. One where he could finally understand the truth behind the pain he had carried for so long. Over the next few days, Team 7 dedicated themselves to training with a renewed sense of purpose. They pushed each other harder, testing their limits and refining their techniques. Naruto took the lead, incorporating his light manipulation into their training exercises, teaching Sasuke and Sakura to combine their abilities in creative ways. As they trained, the bond between the three of them deepened. They shared laughter, frustrations, and encouragement, transforming the heavy atmosphere into one of camaraderie and resilience. Each training session felt less like a chore and more like a shared adventure. One evening, as they rested after a particularly grueling day, Naruto decided it was time to open up about his own struggles. "You know," he began, glancing at his teammates, "I used to feel really lonely. Everyone in the village treated me like I was a monster because of the 9 tails. I wanted to prove myself so badly that I lost sight of what was important." Sakura listened intently, her heart aching for Naruto's past. "But you didn't give up," she said softly. "You found a way to connect with others." "Exactly," Naruto exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. "I realized that being strong isn't just about power. It's about having people who believe in you and who you can believe in. You guys are my family, and I'd do anything to protect you." Sasuke shifted slightly, contemplating Naruto's words. "You really think bonds can make someone stronger?" he asked, his voice low. "Definitely. Look at how far we've all come together. We're stronger when we support each other," Naruto replied with conviction. As the days turned into weeks, the trio continued to train, each member finding strength in their shared experiences. They faced their challenges head-on, determined to grow as individuals and as a team. One night, as they gathered around a small campfire outside the village, The topic of conversation shifted toward their dreams for the future. "What do you want to accomplish after we take down the Akatsuki?" Sakura asked, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Naruto thought for a moment, his expression serious. "I want to be Hokage. Of course. But more than that, I want to build a village where everyone feels like they belong. I want to protect the people I care about, so no one feels alone like I did." Sasuke remained quiet, pondering his own answer. Finally, he spoke. "I want to confront Itachi and understand the truth behind what he did. But I also want to be stronger, for my family. And for you guys." Sakura smiled, warmth flooding her heart. "And I want to be a great medic ninja. I want to save lives, and help my friends when they need it the most." As they shared their dreams, the bonds of Team 7 strengthened even further. Each member realized that their goals intertwined, creating a shared path they would walk together. In the days that followed, Sasuke felt a sense of purpose and clarity that had been absent for far too long. With Naruto and Sakura by his side, he was ready to confront his past and embrace whatever future awaited him. The journey ahead would be challenging, but as Team 7, they were determined to face it together. United by their shared struggles and newfound understanding, they were not just teammates, they were a family bound by friendship, trust, and an unbreakable bond. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting an ethereal glow over the forest surrounding Konoha. Team 7 stood at the edge of a clearing, tension thick in the air. Sasuke's heart raced as he stared ahead, his thoughts consumed by the confrontation he had both dreaded and anticipated. They had tracked down Itachi Uchiha, and now, he was just moments away. "Are you ready, Sasuke?" Naruto asked, his voice steady but laced with concern. He could sense the turmoil within his friend, the struggle between revenge and understanding. Sasuke nodded, though uncertainty flickered in his eyes. "I have to do this. I need to know why he did it." Sakura placed a comforting hand on Sasuke's shoulder. "We're here for you. You're not alone in this." Naruto took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his own responsibilities. "And I'll protect you. No matter what. If things get out of hand, I'll be right there." As the three of them stepped further into the clearing, the atmosphere shifted. A chilling presence surrounded them, and they instinctively fell into a defensive formation. There, standing with an air of confidence and an unsettling calm, was Itachi Uchiha. "Hello, Sasuke," Itachi said, his voice smooth and unyielding. His crimson Sharingan swirled as he locked eyes with his younger brother, an eerie mix of affection and coldness in his gaze. "Sasuke," Naruto murmured, stepping slightly in front of him. "Remember, we've got your back. Stay back, Naruto," Sasuke replied, determination flooding his voice. "This is between me and him. Do you really think you can confront me alone, little brother?" Itachi asked, his tone condescending. "You've grown, but you're still just a child chasing shadows." Sasuke clenched his fists, his frustration boiling over. "I want to understand why. Why did you kill our clan? Why did you betray me?" Itachi's expression remained unreadable, but Naruto could sense the tension building. He couldn't let Sasuke face this alone, not when he was still vulnerable to the weight of the past. "Because he believed it was necessary," Itachi said, his voice colder than the night air. "Your path is one of revenge. But I chose a different way for both of us. I did it to protect you." "Protect me?" Sasuke spat, his anger spilling over. "You destroyed everything. You left me alone with this pain." In that moment, Naruto stepped forward, interjecting before the situation escalated further. "You don't get to decide what's best for someone else, Itachi," he shouted, channeling his power. "Sasuke deserves to know the truth." Itachi's gaze shifted to Naruto, an eyebrow raised in amusement. "And who are you to lecture me, Naruto Uzumaki? You are merely a vessel of light. Yet you stand against a shadow you cannot comprehend." Naruto's heart raced, but he stood firm. "I may not understand everything about your past, but I know what it's like to feel lost and alone. Sasuke doesn't have to go through this without support." Sasuke looked at Naruto, his expression a mix of gratitude and frustration. "I have to do this. I can't let you fight my battles for me. But you don't have to fight this one alone," Naruto insisted, his voice rising. Together, we can face whatever comes our way. Itachi's Sharingan gleamed ominously as he observed the scene before him. So, you believe in bonds? Do you? They can be a source of strength or a path to weakness. Bonds are what make us strong, Naruto declared, summoning his light energy. I won't let you hurt him again. With a flick of his wrist, Naruto unleashed a wave of light, encircling Sasuke in a protective barrier that shimmered like a shield. Itachi raised his hand, preparing to counter, but the light proved resilient against his oncoming jutsu. Sasuke's eyes widened as he felt the warmth of Naruto's protection wash over him, calming the storm of emotions within. Naruto, he whispered, realizing the depths of their friendship. I'll handle him. Naruto shouted, a fierce determination igniting within him. Sasuke, you need to focus on understanding why he did what he did. Don't let anger cloud your judgment. Itachi smirked, intrigued by Naruto's boldness. You think you can stand against me? Very well. Show me what you can do. With that, Itachi launched forward, moving with blinding speed. Naruto countered, using his light manipulation to create constructs that defended against Itachi's attacks. Each strike illuminated the clearing, creating a dazzling display of energy as Naruto fought to protect his friend. Sasuke watched in awe as Naruto held his own against Itachi. The once gloomy air was now filled with vibrant light, contrasting sharply with the darkness that Itachi embodied. He's really fighting for me, Sasuke realized, his heart swelling with a mix of admiration and gratitude. As the battle intensified, Itachi's strikes became more relentless. Yet, every time he attempted to breach Naruto's defenses, he was met with a counter that pushed him back. Impressive, Itachi admitted, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. You've grown stronger, Naruto. But you are still no match for me. Naruto felt the weight of Itachi's words but pushed through the doubt. It's not about being a match for you. It's about standing by my friends and fighting for what's right. Sasuke, fueled by Naruto's unwavering support, found the courage to step forward. Itachi, I won't let you manipulate me anymore. I deserve to know the truth. Itachi paused, his gaze shifting from Naruto to Sasuke. For the first time, a flicker of something deeper crossed his features, perhaps regret, or understanding. Very well, Sasuke. I'll tell you the truth. As the battle began to slow, the air crackled with tension. And both Naruto and Sasuke prepared to hear what Itachi had to say. The truth is complex, Itachi began, his voice low but steady. I did what I did to protect the village. To protect you from a fate worse than death. Your revenge will lead you down a dark path, one from which you may never return. Naruto felt the shift in the atmosphere. The confrontation was no longer just about power. It was about understanding the deeper wounds that bound them all. He realized that Itachi's actions stemmed from a place of twisted love and sacrifice, an understanding that had eluded Sasuke for so long. Don't let your hatred define you, Naruto urged, stepping closer to Sasuke, his protective barrier shimmering brightly around them both. Your brother may have done terrible things, but you have the power to choose your own path. Sasuke's mind raced as he processed Itachi's words. You killed our family for the village. For what? You should have come to me. Itachi's expression softened, and for a moment, the weight of regret and pain was visible in his eyes. I did it to protect you. I didn't want you to bear the burden of hatred alone. The realization struck Sasuke like a lightning bolt. He had spent so long clinging to his thirst for revenge. But now he began to see that true strength lay not in hatred but in understanding and compassion. Maybe it's time to let go of the past, Sasuke said, his voice steady as he looked Itachi in the eye. But I need to know that you're truly sorry. Itachi's gaze held his brother's, the crimson Sharingan dimming as a new understanding settled between them. I cannot change the past, but I can help you navigate your future. I am sorry, Sasuke. It was never my intention to leave you with such pain. As the tension eased, Naruto felt a sense of hope blossom within him. We can face this together, Sasuke. You don't have to carry this burden alone anymore. The light surrounding them began to flicker, a symbol of the choice Sasuke now faced. The bond between the brothers shifted, hinting at a possibility of healing and understanding. With a nod of resolve, Sasuke stepped forward, allowing the barrier to dissipate. Let's figure this out together. Itachi. I want to understand. As they stood in the clearing, surrounded by the glow of the moonlight, the weight of their past slowly began to lift. Though the scars remained, the seeds of a new beginning were sown. Naruto watched with a mix of pride and relief, knowing they had taken a significant step forward, not just for themselves, but for their futures. In that moment, Naruto understood that true strength wasn't merely about power or revenge. It was about the bonds they forged and the ability to face the past together. As Team 7 stood united, a new chapter in their journey began, one filled with hope, understanding, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.